Chapter 204. Gently play and sing, the water flows with me. When I leave, the fallen leaves are drifting. When I return, they are green and yellow. At home, my mother looks at the door, and Nyen is at the other side. Gently play and sing, the water flows with me. The group was made up of children between the ages of 10 and 15. They were walking in the middle of the endless fields. One of the children had probably received a different kind of education from a young age. He even brought a lute with him and sang along as he walked. "Little Black, can you stop singing? We haven't left home that far. You mean you won't come back for the rest of your life? How annoying." While this person was singing, the person next to him was unhappy and complained to him. "Who are you calling Little Black?" "Me. I hate it when people give me nicknames." "Earth Tank, can't you speak properly?" The person called Little Black stopped what he was doing and replied. The kid was unhappy. "Who are you calling Earth Tank? I'm short and fat now. Won't I grow up in the future? Everyone calls you Little Black. Who told you to fall into a mud pit in the summer? You don't know how to wash and play with us. I'm not the only one calling you that. Others are calling you that too. No matter what happens in the future, you're fat and short now. Just wait for your bad luck. You shouldn't have come at all. I heard that this time is different from the previous 2 times. Let's see how much you can carry." Little Black didn't want to let go of the person who disturbed his mood so easily, so he mocked again. "Then let's wait and see. Look at how thin you are. With so many things, I'll crush you." The person nicknamed Earth Tank was not convinced. The team passed through the fields. There was a small path in front of them. No one knew where it led to. At this time, Li Sun began to let people announce the rules. He listened to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and was prepared to have a real survival in the wild. First of all, there was a change in the arrangement of water supply at intervals. And no matter if it was day or night, there was no tent. Unless someone was ready to leave, they would be placed. If they wanted a tent, they could carry it themselves. Not only that, he also asked people to bring as many things as possible, whether it was food or drinks. At the same time, there was no limit on how far they had to walk each day. It was just a matter of who got there first. It seemed that it would take at least 4 to 5 days to get there. During this process, the parents were not allowed to give the children anything, and the children were not allowed to go to a shop to buy things. If they wanted to drink water, it was simple. They just had to bring enough or drink from the nearby river. If the water was poisonous, they could ask someone to check for them. It was the same for food. They would eat whatever they could find. If they couldn't take it, they would leave the team. This time there weren't too many people, only 80. It was all to give him a clear survival training and let him write it to his father and even send it to his uncle. The team temporarily stopped on the road. With the shouts of Li Sun's subordinates, the children began to prepare. They learned from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan that the bags took up half of their bodies and were not small at all. The parents were busy stuffing things into the bags. There were jerky, water, clothes, blankets, and so on. There were all kinds of things. Li Sun was also stuffing things for himself. He had specifically asked Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan about these things, so he was more prepared. A blanket was indispensable. In addition to this, there were jerky and fried noodles. Originally, he wanted to make some of Zhang Xiaobao's instant noodles, but he felt that it would take up too much space, so he could only give up. There were also 2 water bags, a pair of shoes, a small shovel, a bowl set, and a fire scythe for starting a fire. When everyone was almost ready, they set off together. The path was not that wide, so it was impossible for everyone to walk side by side. At this time, Li Sun learned to be smart. He followed behind a person who was about the same height as him. He only lowered his head to look at the other person's feet and walked mechanically. This would reduce the consumption of energy. Why didn't Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan come? A person in the team muttered, gritting his teeth. It seemed that he had a deep hatred for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. These words were heard by Li Sun. He turned his head to look at Han Yongyao, who was speaking. He knew that this conflict was caused by him. He found it funny in his heart. This brat didn't dare to take revenge on him, so he put his hatred on the two children. Not to mention that they didn't come. If they came, what could Han Yongyao do? Fight 2 against 1. In the desert, he asked clearly and was defeated. In terms of survival in the wild, with his little ability, how could he compete with 2 children who were taught by a master? If I meet them this time, I will definitely let them know how strong I am. Humph, they actually dared to knock me down. I am not convinced, Han Yongyao continued. There are many things that you are not convinced of. Don't grumble in front of me, it's annoying. Li Sun frowned and looked at Han Yongyao. He replied with dissatisfaction. He had a good impression of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Although they were 2 children, they spoke like adults, educated and reasonable. Compared to the current Han Yongyao, they were not at the same level. If the 2 children had lived in the palace since they were young, it would be understandable. However, they lived in Zhuangzi. It could only be said that the master behind them taught them well. Li Cheng ran there and had not returned until now. He did not know how his conversation with the master went. He heard that recently, the master had been giving Li Cheng some interesting questions. They looked simple but were not easy to do. He hoped that when he returned, he would be able to give him a surprise. When Han Yongyao heard that his words were interrupted, he was about to refute. However, he suddenly realized that it was the imperial nephew. He immediately closed his mouth, afraid of causing trouble. However, his heart was even more uncomfortable. His hatred for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also increased. He did not dare to provoke the imperial nephew. He could only walk slowly and wait for others to pass by. Then he started to grumble again. Don't think that I don't know. That land is nearly 6,000 mu. I rewarded 4,000 mu. It's all occupied, right? When I return home, I will settle this with you. It's not that easy to knock me down. Make money. Let me make money. You won't have the life to spend it. Yongyao, what are you talking about? Who offended you? Tell me, I will help you think of a way. Just as Han Yongyao finished grumbling, someone came over and asked in a low voice. Who else could it be? It's Zhangjia Zhuangzi and Wang Zhuangzi's little brats who stole the land that my family wanted. Last time in the desert, when I was not paying attention, they kicked me down. The 2 of them were afraid that I would beat them up, so they ran away quickly. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. I can't take this lying down. Han Yongyao looked at the person next to him. He knew him. If he wanted to see him, he would often see him. He was next to his family's Zhuangzi and was older than his family's Zhuangzi. He slightly changed the situation and told the story. The 2 of them were kicked down by you. I heard that the 2 of them are not even 3 years old. How did you do it? In the desert. When the person heard this, he was curious. He did not care if it would make Han Yongyao sad and asked. Yes, it's the 2 of them, a boy and a girl, surviving in the desert. They said that they were 5 years old. Don't look at them because they are young. They are not young and they are full of evil tricks. I was careless and was knocked down by the 2 of them together. Don't you know me? I can beat the 2 of them effortlessly. Look, you didn't see them today, right? They are scared. Han Yongyao found an excuse for himself and gestured for the person to look around. Indeed, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not around. Yeah, they are really scared. The person did not know what to say at that moment and could only follow along. The other person next to him looked down on Han Yongyao and interrupted. Who is scared? You should be happy that you didn't see the 2 of them today. You didn't see the 2 of them jumping on their horses on the grassland. You are scared to death. Are you as tall as a horse? The 2 of them can cooperate with each other and change their body shape in the air. If you meet them, one of them will jump on the other and kick you to death. Do you think they are pushovers? In the 2 wilderness survival missions, which one of them didn't run at the front? In the desert, when you were crying at the end, they were trotting all the way there. It was clear from his words that the person who spoke was someone who had experienced the 2 wilderness survival missions. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had left a strong impression in his heart. He was one of the last 3 people to walk in front of the others in the desert. He could only watch as the 2 children ran from behind and overtook him, but there was nothing he could do. That moment he was really convinced. He remembered that when he heard the 2 people running by, they shouted 1 2 2 2, the same pace, the same arm swing. Even when they were close to the tent, the sound still echoed in his ears. Thinking about the shocking scene when they got on the horse on the grassland, he did not dare to compare himself with them. Han Yongyao obviously did not like to hear others praise Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He turned his head and said, "I am not talking to you. Brother Xing Yi, I am talking to you." "Okay, tell me." The person who was called Xing Yi nodded. It was his first time participating in this mission, so he did not know what had happened before. "Then help me think of a way to deal with the 2 of them. Let me tell you, their family took up more land than they should have. They were given 4,000 mu of land. In the end, they took up nearly 6,000 mu of land. I must let them know my power." Han Yongyao had been holding back his anger, hoping that others would help him. He really could not think of a good way. "Oh, I see. I also heard about what happened to them. I don't think we should tell them first. We should let them know from another angle. Have an idea. Listen to me." The person thought for a while, then put his mouth close to Han Yongyao's ear and said his idea. "Will that work? If you ask me to do that and the government finds out, my family will also be in trouble. It will not be easy to poison them." Han Yongyao heard the person's words and hesitated. "How can it not be easy? Your 2 families are next to each other. Just send 2 people over at night." The person continued to emphasize. "Okay, I will listen to you this time." Han Yongyao finally agreed. Chapter 205. After the autumn rain, it was much colder. The restaurant between the clouds and the water lived up to its name. Wild fish hadn't washed up here, and local fish couldn't be found here either. The people in the restaurant had to fish some fish from the pond in Zhuangzi and put them in the middle of the restaurant that was surrounded by a net. The tables on the first floor where fish could be caught were also full. Only these tables could be used to eat and fish at the same time. Compared to other places, the price was also higher. Today, not only were there many customers here, but there were also many customers eating on the first floor and the second floor. Almost every customer was carrying a plate with a number written on it. When it was almost time to get a person's number, a waiter came over to greet the customer. The customer followed the waiter to a private room on the second floor and discussed with steward Zhang about buying popcorn. It was the snack that popped out of the popcorn, glued it with sugar and cut it into pieces. As for how they talked inside, the people outside didn't know. All the merchants who came out didn't say anything when they were asked. "Waiter, come here, I want to ask you something." In a room on the second floor, 2 merchants, one thin and one fat, sat opposite each other. They were looking at the scenery outside while eating and drinking. The number of words on their plates was a little late. They couldn't wait any longer, so they had to call the waiter over to ask. The waiter came over with a smile and stood beside them respectfully. "Sir, please tell me. As long as I know, I will tell you everything I know. I heard that the popcorn is the rice that was originally used to make seeds. Is it true that it was drenched by the rain?" The fat merchant thought that when they entered the room later, they would need to talk about the price. For example, if the popcorn was drenched by the rain, they would have to lower the price and so on. The waiter blinked twice and coughed softly to clear his throat. Then he said, "Sir, you know about it." "Yes, there was such a thing. You didn't know that day. That guy, let me tell you, there were so many people. It was so dark that you couldn't see anything. It was about to rain. Everyone was anxious, especially the owners of the grain store. They were so anxious that their eyebrows were on fire. Guess what they did? Lighting up the lanterns, that guy lit up half the sky. He swung his scythe, and the rice fell one by one. Unfortunately, it was too late. Just as he was about to collect the scythe, there was a loud crack of thunder, and who knew how many people were killed? Then raindrops as big as soybeans came pouring down. That guy, just listen. There are sounds of rain everywhere. This lowly one is watching from the second floor. I saw the uncut rice seedlings get smashed down by the rain. The rice grains get smashed everywhere. That guy. Dude, what are you talking about? It's raining so heavily at night. Can you see the rice grains flying over there while standing here? Let me ask you, are those patties moldy? Listening to the waiter's boasting, the thin merchant interrupted the waiter unhappily. The shop assistant didn't feel embarrassed at all. He smiled and said, "Sir, you are right. I heard it from others. Please excuse me. You asked if it's moldy. No, absolutely not. Listen to this lowly one. At that time, I heard that the owners of the grain stores were so anxious that they cried. That guy looked so pitiful. Guess what happened? Zhangjia Zhuangzi collected the patties that were soaked in the rain and sold some new seeds to them. They were so touched. That guy kept praising Zhuangzi and cried even louder than before. Other people would be done for if they encountered such a thing, but the Zhang family's farmstead didn't care. That night, they collected the drenched rice and began to peel it. After peeling it, they placed it in something and threw it into the fire. The entire farmstead heard the sound of a clanging sound. That fellow sounded like thunder. This lowly one went to see it the next afternoon. That guy, can you guess what this lowly one saw? You definitely won't be able to guess. It came out right in front of this lowly one's eyes. Oh, it's so scary. What's scary? The shop assistant said and gestured, which really attracted the two merchants. At the critical moment, he suddenly stopped. That's a good question. What's scary? Don't worry. This lowly one definitely didn't see a big worm or a wild wolf. We don't have those things here. Even if we do, we don't need to be afraid. Zhuangzi has a protection team. You don't know that the protection team is very powerful. That guy. With a clatter, a string of coins was thrown on the table. The thin merchant didn't say anything and just looked at the shop assistant. That day, this lowly one saw some planks in the courtyard of the manor. On top of the planks were pieces of paper. A small mountain of rice was piled on top of the paper. Beside it, there was also someone boiling sugar to make the rice stick to the rice. The shop assistant changed his expression and said what the two wanted to know as quickly as possible. At the same time, he picked up the 20 coins and put them into his sleeve. Well then, do you know what turned the rice into flowers? The fat merchant asked again. No, the shop assistant answered without thinking. With a clatter, another 11 strings of coins were thrown on the table. This time there were twice as many coins as last time. The two merchants didn't know how to carry them, but they were strangely heavy. I don't know. Please don't take them out. Even if I know, this lowly one can't say. The shop assistant directly said. The two merchants looked at each other. The thin one nodded and the fat one said to the shop assistant, "Do you want to change to a better place to work?" "Yes, but I don't know." The housekeeper said that this lowly one will be a shopkeeper in a few days. The shop assistant stopped smiling and said seriously. The thin merchant looked at the shop assistant and thought for a while. Then you have to work hard. I heard that Zhangjia Zhuangzi is selling chickens recently. Do you know how many of them haven't been sold? You mean chickens? Yes, we're selling them. Not only chicks, we're selling ducklings and geese as well. There are so many of them. That fellow, when I came out this morning, I saw a flock of chicks running back and forth in the farmstead, chirping non-stop. That's what they look like. They're half the size of my palm and are so furry. Speaking of this, the shop assistant's face was full of smiles again, and his hands were also on the drawing board. When the two merchants heard this, they sighed at the same time. They exchanged for a string of 10 copper coins and pushed it in front of the shop assistant. There are about 6,000 left to be sold. You have to give them to the farmers on Zhuangzi first, and to the surrounding Zhuangzi as well. If you want to buy them, you have to be quick. Otherwise, you won't have anything left. This lowly one has a list here. Please take a look. It has the size and price of each bird written on it. When the shop assistant put away the money, he told the two of them what they wanted to know. He also took out a piece of paper with some words written on it. The fat merchant took it and handed it to the thin merchant. On it was written the number of days and the price of 3 kinds of birds. The male and female birds were calculated separately. It also said what to feed them, which ones were cheaper and which ones grew faster. It was very detailed. Who should I talk to about this matter? The thin merchant folded the paper and put it away. When it's your turn, you can talk to Steward Zhang directly. If you want to ship them back yourself, we'll see how much you can negotiate. If you want to ship them back to Zhuangzi, you'll have to pay more. After the shop assistant finished speaking, he saw the 2 of them and immediately left. At noon, the weather was a little warmer. Some of the 80 children were tired from walking. They found a place under a tree and squatted there to eat. Everyone was carrying a big bag. Although it was a little heavy, there was a lot of things inside. There was water and meat, and some people even packed some washed fruits. Brother Yong Yao, did you arrange someone to go back and do the poisoning thing? The person who gave the bad idea, who was called Brother Xing Yi by Han Yong Yao, came over with half a lamb leg in his hand and asked in a low voice. Humph, Brother Xing Yi, don't worry. I've arranged everything. Brother Xing Yi, try the lamb chops my family brought me. Han Yong Yao handed over several pieces of smoked lamb chops. Good, it's good that you've arranged it. Brother Yong Yao, try my leg of lamb. I brought 3 this time. Xing Yi took out a leg of lamb to exchange. The 2 of them laughed sinisterly. Li Sun was also eating at this time. He was surrounded by a few people who had stayed with him from the grassland to the desert. The things they took out were different from those people who came here for the first time. Most of the things they carried was water. There was no whole roast chicken, no lamb leg, no lamb chop, and no sauced beef. They were all kinds of fried noodles, and there were some hard jerky inside. They grabbed a handful and stuffed it into their mouths, drank some water and slowly chewed. They also licked away the little bits of foam on their mouths and hands with their tongues. Young Master Li, looking at the things they brought, it seems like they won't last more than a few days. Are you really going to give them a beating? A person finished the food in his mouth and asked softly. Li Sun's face was gloomy. He looked around at the people who were eating and snorted coldly. That's what I said at the beginning. If they were willing to come, I would have let them know in advance that the journey this time would be very long. They actually dared to bring so much meat and bones that take up so much space. Beat them. The journey has already been divided into 10 portions. I won't let them off easily. Li Sun's big matter was to summarize the situation and report it to his father. He wanted his father to allow him to send people to survive in the harsh wilderness for a longer period of time. He hadn't added the intelligence gathering and anti-reconnaissance yet. After Li Sun finished speaking, those people didn't know what to say. Li Sun thought for a moment and said, "When the time comes, apart from those who are in the military, I will give them a position as a tribute to their hometown. Rewards and punishments will be fair." Thank you, young Master Li. When the people around heard that the imperial nephew had secretly given them a position, they thanked him one after another. Otherwise, with their age, they might not be able to pass the exam. It would be very difficult for them to get a position. Young Master Li, the fried noodles we brought can't last until then. It's estimated that it will take half a month. What should we eat at that time? Can you tell us a bit? A person next to them suddenly thought happily. The backpack was only so big. If there was too much, it wouldn't be able to walk. If they ate it all, how would they replenish it? The grass was already yellow, and the wild vegetables couldn't be eaten. Chapter 206. He was not the only one who was worried. The others were also worried. If they put too much in their backpack, they would not be able to carry it. It would take them about half a month to walk the designated distance. No matter how much they put, it would not be enough. Li Sun got the secret book from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, so he was not worried at all. He smiled and asked the others, "Did you bring a shovel?" "Yes, but the shovel is useless. We can't eat the wild vegetables. They taste like wood in our mouth." The person who spoke just now quickly nodded and took out the shovel that was passed down by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan from his backpack. Now each of them had one. "It's good that you brought it. Don't worry about the rest. Did you bring salt? Li soon asked another thing. Everyone nodded together. Blankets, salt, shovels, bowls, lime, fire sickles, ropes, and telescopic sticks had become essential things for them. Even if they put less food in their backpacks, they could not lack these things. Otherwise, it would be easy to get into trouble. There was also a spare pair of shoes, the kind with small lumps on the bottom. Then don't be afraid. This time I brought more things than you. I filled a small tube with vegetable oil. I can share some with you. It's not your fault. You didn't know before. Li soon only said that it was enough to bring things, but he did not say what they were for. Everyone wanted to know very much, but they did not dare to ask. They could only remember these words and wait for the right time. With fried noodles and water, Li soon and the others ate quickly. After they finished eating, they went on the road without waiting for others. Seeing that the imperial nephew left, the others followed one after another. Fortunately, they could hold the food in their hands and did not need to squat in one place to eat. The mountain is covered with red maple leaves. The path leads into the secluded thicket. The pavilion is high, the road turns, and the building is short. Grinding the ink to leave a poem, and putting down the brush to wait for the paper to be empty. The woodcutter occasionally sat down and talked in detail about the thick autumn. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan changed out of their good-looking but troublesome clothes. Under the protection of several people, they climbed the mountain next to them. Only after taking a few turns and walking on a small path did he realize that there were quite a lot of scholars here. Perhaps autumn was the time when great poets were in high spirits. Every pavilion and building that he came across were filled with poems written by people. When there was no place to write, there was a specialized person who would hang a piece of white paper there and let people continue to write. Some people had already dipped their brush in ink and found that the paper they had just hung up was occupied by someone else, so they could only wait. Xiao Bao, look, this poem is well written. Today is late autumn, I'm here to climb the mountain. The poultry were also climbing, a duck and a cliff. This person must be very good at singing. Hey you. Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao with a red face as she looked at the chicken chop. Yes, it's not bad. It's a good poem. Zhang Xiaobao praised. So this young master and young lady can also tell that my poem is not bad. It's really sentimental. Just as Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, a person who was about to pick up a brush and write a poem said. The two of them were stunned. They actually met. Wang Wan's mouth moved. Xiao Bao, remember to remind me to write my surname backwards. I don't want to be like him. Okay, I'm glad. If he wants to be surnamed Zhang, I will write it separately. The top is Bao, the bottom is Chong. Zhang Xiaobao expressed his understanding. This person seemed to be unsatisfied with what he had just said. He stopped and said, Then do the two of you know the meaning of my poem? He really didn't mind that the children in front of him were young and treated them as two people who could talk to each other. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and gave him a look. Zhang Xiaobao curled his lips and said, According to my guess, this is a poem with the world in mind. From the last line you can tell. A duck and a cliff. A duck standing on the edge of a cliff. Looking at it, one is worried that it will fall. If even a duck can be treated like this, how can a human be treated like this? That's not right. My poem is a sentimental poem about the past. Young lady, you say something. This person didn't plan to let go of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan so easily. He shook his head and looked at Wang Wan with expectation. Wang Wan had no choice but to bite the bullet and stare at the poem. She wanted to find a sentimental meaning from it. No. You must have a duck at home. When you miss home in the autumn, you climb up and see other people's ducks. You think, home is at the corner of the sea, and I am at the end of the world. There are ducks at home and there are ducks here too. You feel sentimental, right? Wang Wan held back for a while and finally said it. This person nodded. Yes, although it's not the center, it's not far. When I saw this duck I thought, why aren't you a wild duck? That way you can fly very far. Don't tell me you want to jump off the cliff and fly. If I grew wings I would definitely go home and take a look. Yes, yes, yes. That's right. It's very artistic. Then Brother Wang, you are busy. We will go up first. Zhang Xiaobao quickly agreed. After he finished speaking, he grabbed Wang Wan's hand and was about to run up. Wait, I see that the two of you are not bad. Don't you have a sentimental sentence? For example, the two of you have done well last year and this year. Why don't you leave a piece of calligraphy here for future generations to see? This person stopped Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and insisted that the two of them write something sentimental. Oku, you're right. There's really no other way. We have to deal with one. Let's go. Zhang Xiaobao let Wang Wan take the lead this time. His writing was better than this person's, but the time he had to practice was too short. Bei. Wang Wan had no choice but to run to this person and take the brush. She spread the paper on the stone table. When she was about to write, she said, I don't know how to write poems. I will just write something fun. Sentimental. I will definitely be sentimental. As Wang Wan spoke, she wrote the Lu script. Her wrist was not strong enough and was a little soft. After she finished writing, she threw down the brush and pulled Zhang Xiaobao to run. After the two of them left, this person smiled and looked at what Wang Wan wrote. Lola, you are the wind, I am the sand. Hee, a child will be a child. It's fun to write. When this person saw the first few words, he laughed out loud. The person beside him also curiously came over and read, La, you are the wind, I am the sand. When I blow duckweed, we are a flower. When I laugh, the flower falls. The person beside him looked at the words on the paper and then looked at this person surnamed Wang. He laughed and left without saying anything. Young Master Wang, I wonder if you can give this paper to me. Just as this person surnamed Wang was polishing what Wang Wan had written, another person who had also just arrived walked up to him, glanced at the words and said to him, Young Master Wang, I have 100 copper coins here. I can exchange it for the words in your hand. Young Master Wang also wanted to write. How about I give you another 100 copper coins? This person immediately added. Bei. The man surnamed Wang didn't hesitate. When he saw that the 200 copper coins were about to be sold, he wrote one as well. Together with the one written by Wang Wan, the man in the pavilion copied it and sold it to him. Go quickly send this to the official. Tell the official that this was written by a little girl from Zhuangzi. This person took the item and hurriedly turned around and walked back. After walking for a while, he gave the order to the person in front of him. The person nodded and carefully put away the words. He turned around and ran away. This person took out what the person surnamed Wang had written and glanced at it. He cursed. Rubbish. He rolled it into a ball and threw it into the mouth of a toad that was carved out of wood. It was a special garbage bin. A person carrying a basket on his back and a broom in his hand swept the branches and pebbles on the road. He glanced at this person and then glanced in the direction that the other person had left. He unhurriedly swept the ground under his feet and turned around to walk in another direction. Just as he turned around a corner, he suddenly sped up. He stared at the figure of the person who had left until they reached the foot of the mountain. He saw that person running towards the pier. He said a few words to a person in the carriage beside him. Soon, a horse carrying a person also went in that direction. That was too scary. Later we will take a detour and don't meet him again. I will remember and not talk nonsense in the future. Wang Wan patted her chest and said with lingering fear. She had run all the way to the top of the mountain with Zhang Xiaobao. Yes, he was too persistent. I hope that he didn't participate in the imperial examination. His writing was also terrible. Yes, standing here and looking down, it is indeed spacious and bright. It's just that this place hasn't been fixed yet. There is only a platform and no railings. It would be bad if he fell. Zhang Xiaobao opened his arms and felt the wind blowing. He looked at the scenery below and said happily. Wang Wan also said, Yes, after fixing the railings, we still need to add 2 nets below. I'm afraid that people will stand on the railings to enjoy the scenery. It's a pity that we don't have good steel cables. Otherwise it would be even more fun to slide down. Okay, let's go down and shake off the tail. Let's see how the lake is being fixed. Zhang Xiaobao whispered and pulled Wang Wan down another path. The people protecting them still followed behind. Going down the mountain was slightly slower. There was no main road and it was rugged. The stairs were also cut out from the mountain, and there was only a rope to protect them. When they arrived at the foot of the mountain, there were 3 carriages waiting for passengers parked side by side. The people protecting them first surrounded the 3 carriages and waited for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to enter. Only then did they protect one of the carriages and quickly move in the direction of the yamen. As soon as the first carriage left, 2 people got on the second carriage. After giving the order, they also moved in the direction of the yamen. After the second carriage left, the last carriage changed direction. The sound of horses' hooves could be heard as they went to the lake. After about a quarter of an hour, the third carriage stopped. The door opened and Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came out. Seeing that there was already water and there was still a dam around the lake, they held hands and ran over. Okay, when the dam is finished, we can dig a canal to connect to the little Luoshui. It will be much more convenient to come here next summer. Wang Wan stood in the pavilion by the lake and planned. Yes, that's right. It's just that there is no spring on the mountain. Otherwise, there would be a small river for those scholars and beauties to play with. Zhang Xiaobao was slightly regretful. Chapter 207. Xiaobao, who do you think is following us? I think it's quite interesting. Wang Wan began talking about the tail. Those people were too unprofessional in following them. How could they be seen through? Ever since they came out in the morning, there had been 2 different groups of people following them. It was unknown if they had planned ahead and kept following them. Did they think they were too impressive, or did they think that she and Zhang Xiaobao were too foolish? Such a method of following was an insult to the intelligence of others. They were too inexperienced. It was easy to shake them off. Zhang Xiaobao and Wei Wei shook their heads. How would I know who is following us? There are many people who are curious about the Zhang and Wang families' farmsteads, and any one of them could be the culprit. When the people who are tracking them come back, it will be clear. The things you wrote have been taken away, and they are probably keeping them for research purposes. Xiaobao, let's go out and have fun in a while. Then we will let them see us and shake them off. Let them experience it. Wang Wan suddenly thought of an idea, perhaps feeling that life was too boring. All right, let's do that. When it gets a little darker, we will go boating by the river. Zhang Xiaobao agreed. Are you stupid? How did you lose them? Tell me, where did you lose them? In a courtyard beside Sanshui County's yamen, 2 people who were following Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were standing in front of a man in his late 30s. They lowered their heads and were being reprimanded. They took the second carriage and followed behind the first one. In the end, the first carriage arrived at the yamen and stopped there. The surrounding guards dispersed. They unloaded the horses and tied them to a tree by the side. They found a rock and sat on it to take a nap. In the end, they waited and waited until it was almost night time, but no one came out of the carriage. As the sky darkened, the carriage seemed to be tidying up the carriage. The surrounding boards were all removed. When the 2 saw the empty carriage, they were dumbfounded. Where was the person? Why was there no one? Hey, I'm asking you too. Do you know where you lost him? Think about it carefully. You can't even keep an eye on 2 children. What little smarts. How dare you call yourself that when you're so stupid? The man sat there and asked the 2 of them to recall when they had lost face. When those people dispersed, they probably hid Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in their clothes, Xiaocong said after thinking for a while. That's not right. We should be able to see a person hiding in the clothes. I think they jumped when they were crossing the bridge. Xiaocong refuted Xiaocong. The person sitting there was so angry that he laughed. Aren't you following behind? There are railings on the bridge. Why don't you jump and show me? Think again. That means that when the carriage was unloaded, he used the horse to block the carriage. That's right, he led the horse around the carriage. At that time Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan ran out and ran. No, we can see everything around us. There's no place to hide. Where? As Xiao Tsong spoke, he denied his own words. Tsong didn't understand and scratched his head. At this time a person ran in and said, I found Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. They're at the dock. They got on a passenger boat. They should be going somewhere else. Okay, send more people. Tsong, Xiao Tsong, you two go quickly. Remember, you can't lose them this time. Wei Wei, who was sitting, nodded and glared at the two of them. I'll follow them this time. Send more people to watch them. Xiao Tsong promised. Tsong also looked determined. When the two of them arrived at the dock, they saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan standing under the lantern on the boat. They were pointing at the river and seemed to be talking about something happy. Tsong, they're there. The person who stayed here pointed at the figure on the boat and said to Kong, I saw them a long time ago. Let's go and get on the boat. Arrange a few people to hire a boat to watch by the side and see where they want to go. Tsong vented his anger on this person. He brought a few people over and asked Xiao Tsong to watch from the outside. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also found the two people who were following them. They looked at each other and smiled. They turned and entered the biggest cabin in the middle of the boat. There were many people inside. The design of this boat was different from others. There was a space in the middle for people to eat, drink, and chat. If they wanted to go back to rest, there were 2 entrances and only 1 floor. Otherwise, the beam above would not be able to hold. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan walked through the crowd and turned to enter a door. After a while, 2 more people went in. When Tsong brought people to find the people who stayed in the cabin to watch, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan still came out to watch the fun and then went back. Open your eyes wide. How many people went in? Tsong was now sure. 4 Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and 2 people, a boy and a girl. The person who stayed behind replied. All right, now there are 6. Another 2 went in, so 5. An old man came out and a child went in. Watch them closely. One of you go over and don't let him change. Now there are 4 people, so an adult comes out. Tsong stared without blinking and asked people to see if there was any way to go elsewhere. Tsong, the child who went in just now, came out. That's right, it's the same one. Now there are 3 people, Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and 1 more person. One of the people who watched came back. 5 went in, now there are 8 inside, 2 more went in, 10 more came out, 3 more came out, 2 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 more came out, there is 1 more inside, and how many more? Tsong was stunned as he counted and asked uncertainly. Tsong, I remember, there is 1 more. He came out, there is no one inside now. A person at the side was still smiling and saying, no one. Where are Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan? Stupid, how did you count? Go in and take a look. Tsong was stunned this time. He was the first to rush over, and the others followed. They waited for the door to be pushed open, but there was no one in the empty room. Quick, follow me to find Xiao Kong. He is outside. Tsong shouted and ran out first. At this time, the boat had not left yet. They had to wait for a while, and when most of the people were on it, it would leave. Xiao Tsong was guarding outside. There were people on the boat, on the pier, and on the bridge. He did not believe that he could not guard them. After waiting for a while, when the boat was about to leave, he suddenly saw Tsong running out from inside. With the help of the lights on the boat, he seemed to be very flustered. Xiao Tsong hurriedly went over. What's wrong, Tsong? It's gone. It disappeared right under my nose. Did you see it? Tsong grabbed Xiao Tsong's shoulder and asked nervously. Xiao Tsong asked curiously. What's gone? Who did I see? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The 2 of them are not in the boat. We have been keeping an eye on them. Did they come out? Tsong did not know how to describe his feelings. The thing he regretted the most was that he did not send anyone in, but that seemed to be someone else's rented cabin. He could not send anyone in. You didn't keep an eye on them. I didn't see them outside, so they must be inside the boat. Arrange for people to get on the boat and follow them. When they get to the place where they disembark, get people to watch them. This boat is going to the capital, so it can stop 3 times on the way. Ditsong gritted his teeth and gave the order. 4 people went on the boat, while he and Xiao Tsong rushed back. They had to report. In the semicircular room on the 3rd floor of the first house in Linshui, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood by the window and watched Ditsong and Xiao Tsong lead the others in a hurry. They kept laughing. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and sighed helplessly. It's too unfulfilling. Why don't they remember what the people who come in and go out look like? They only think about the 2 of us. It's over. They lost us again. They didn't notice when 3 children came in twice. They didn't notice when 4 children went out. Don't they know that 2 children are together, wear big clothes to cover their faces, change into big shoes, and use wooden sticks to lengthen their arms? Let's go. We'll give them another chance. Let's go to the county town's night market to eat snacks. There's no curfew here. I wonder what it's like in the capital. Zhang Xiaobao was ready to continue attacking the other party. He already knew the house. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong followed the first car, and there were people following behind them. The 2 of them talked and went downstairs. They took the boat to the shore and strolled directly to the night market. Young Master Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are hiding on the boat. I've arranged for people to watch them. One stands outside. Even if there's a small boat, he can still see them. One stands inside. There are 2 waiting for rotation. The people protecting them should know that someone is following them. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong returned to the house and reported to the person who was still sitting there. The person pondered for a while and asked, "Did you see which cabin they went into?" "I saw it, but there was no one in the cabin after that. I kept an eye on it, but I don't know how it disappeared. Maybe the cabin was connected to a secret passage somewhere else." Ditsong found the best explanation for the situation at the time. What secret passage? That boat doesn't have a secret passage at all. I've specially asked people to check it. All the wood texture is correct, and it doesn't look like it's connected. Stupid, you still lost them. The person really didn't know what to say. Ditsong trembled. He wanted to explain, but he opened his mouth and didn't say anything. "Young Master, I was guarding outside. I didn't see the 2 of them come out. They must be on the boat." Xiao Tsong helped Dekong report. Just as Xiao Tsong's voice fell, a person came in. "Young Master, in the county's night market, our people saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan eating pancakes. Wang Wan also asked for a bowl of liangpi soup. At a place selling barbecue, they asked someone to roast a few shrimp." "Yes, I know. You can leave." The young master responded and waited for the person to leave. His eyes turned to Ditsong and Xiao Kong. He didn't say anything and just stared at them. Chapter 208. Young Master, did they make a hole in the boat below and enter the water? Ditsong was dumbfounded and tried to find an excuse. "I think water has entered your head. Didn't you say you were counting people? Why did water enter again? There will be fewer people entering. Are you stupid?" This young master was also puzzled. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong were usually smart people. What happened to them today? They seemed to lose track of each other every time. Xiao Tsong was at the side and could not understand. It was strange. In the blink of an eye they were gone. Looking at the young master's gloomy face, he said softly, "Young master, this time I will not lose track of them. I will go again." "Go, all of you go. Follow them. What's the point of losing track of them? If they wanted to do something, they would have done it long ago. Go take a look and learn from them. Tomorrow, get someone to find young Master Song. Go early in the morning. Don't wait for him to find us. Tell him that we have no ill intentions." This young master gave up on punishing the 2 of them and waved his hand like he was shooing away flies. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong did not understand and asked at the same time, "Young master, why would he find us? You can follow them, but they will follow you. If you lose track of them, do you think they will lose track of them as well?" They have not sent the bailiffs to find them because they are waiting. If we go tomorrow, we will be weaker than them. Young master is saying that they are following us and did not see them. Tsong and I have been very careful. What is the use of the bailiffs coming? They dared to arrest us. Why? Xiao Tsong did not believe it. The young master laughed. Kakik, not arresting them but dragging you to see an illness. Do you know what illness it is? Water has entered your head. Scram. Tsong and Xiao Tsong ran out in confusion and stood at the entrance of the house. They looked around cautiously. Tsong, did you see them? Are they following us? Xiao Tsong asked. No, young master said so. Let's go, young master is angry. I've been following him until night time today. And I'll follow him during the day tomorrow. I don't believe I can lose him again. Tsong looked back at the house, shivered, and walked quickly to the night market. When the two of them arrived at the night market, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan each ate a fruit pancake. They were almost full and were eating prawns. This time the prawns were small, about an inch long. They were taken out of the bucket alive. When they were roasted, they would turn red. They didn't even need to peel the skin off their heads. Just brush it with some salt water. It won't have much taste. Xiaobao, you eat one more. I'll eat one more. Let's split these two. Let's go. They're coming. Wang Wan burped. Seeing the two prawns left in front of her, she gave one to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao was also full, but he couldn't bear to throw it away. He took the prawn and peeled off the shell. He put the meat in his mouth and slowly chewed. He gave a look to the person beside him. The person beside him threw a few copper coins to pay for the prawn. Let's go. We'll throw them off again. We'll study at the inn over there. Zhang Xiaobao wiped his hands, stood up, and walked with Wang Wan to the stall. The two of them are wearing white clothes. It's finally easy to recognize them. Follow them. Tsong looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan standing up and memorized the color of their clothes. The most conspicuous thing was that the two of them were surrounded by several bodyguards. He finally recognized them. Xiao Tsong took a deep breath and clenched his fist. Only then did he follow. Today was really too shameful. He had to get back at them. People came and went in the night market. Because it was close to the pier, some small goods shipped from other places were bought by the people at the small stalls at the pier. They were waiting to set up a stall here at night to earn a few copper coins or exchange for some necessities. Their days would be better. It was almost winter. It was not easy to find work. If they didn't leave some money, it would be difficult to find someone to ask for help. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan strolled slowly in the night market. They stopped from time to time to take a look. Occasionally they would buy one or two small things. As they walked, the number of people in front of them suddenly increased. There were some new cheap radishes. They were selling them 1 copper coin for 3. Price was low. They could be eaten in winter or made into pickles. They could be eaten with rice. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at each other and gestured to the person next to them. The two of them also squeezed into the crowd. A moment later, a group of bodyguards escorted 2 children in white clothes out of the crowd and continued to walk forward. Tsong wiped the sweat on his forehead and complained, "It's so crowded. I didn't lose them. Let's go closer." They are not afraid of squeezing people. If I were Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's family, I would find new bodyguards for them. Xiao Tsong also muttered. After the two of them followed, in front of the crowd, there were 2 children in gray clothes. Each of them had a bundle of white things in their arms. They were squatting there and picking radishes. Each of them was holding a copper coin in their hand. "Xiaobao, I think these radishes are good. Buy them and stew them with beef. Help me tie them up. Forget it, use your clothes to carry them. Give me the money. These 6 radishes are what we want." Wang Wan wrapped the 3 radishes in her clothes and threw the money to them. She got up and walked back with Zhang Xiaobao. 2 more bodyguards came to their side. After an hour, Tsong and Xiao Tsong were a little annoyed. They squeezed around and didn't know why the 2 children didn't stop strolling. When they came to a place that sold all kinds of wood carvings, The two children squatted there and picked. The bodyguards around them dispersed at the same time, as if they didn't care about the two children. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong were confused again. When they got closer, they heard the girl say to the boy, "Brother, the people in Zhuangzi of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan are so good. They gave us a set of clothes and bought us a lot of things. They protected us all the way to the house. When we go back later, I will show mother. I bought 5 feet of cloth for her. Little sister, they also gave me 10 copper coins. I will buy some wine for father. Give me 2 copper coins." The boy also said happily. Hearing this voice, Ditsong and Xiao Tsong rushed over and squatted down to look at the two children carefully. At first glance, they knew that they were not the children. They were about the same height and hair, but their faces were definitely not as good-looking as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Why are you wearing white clothes?" Xiao Tsong swallowed her saliva and asked unwillingly. "Why do you care what we wear? Our house is right next door. If you dare to do anything bad, you are finished. Uncle Yaman Runner, someone wants to arrest us." The little girl looked at Ditsong and Xiao Tsong warily and said a few words. Just then, she saw the Yaman Runner on patrol and shouted loudly. The Yaman Runner on patrol had a knife on his body. When he heard the shout, he put his hand on the handle of the knife and quickly ran over. There were 2 Yaman runners, each watching one child. "No, we didn't catch them. We were just asking. We were just casually asking. We even bought things for them. We even took out the money." Look, Ditsong was smart at this time. He took out a small string of money and stuffed it into the little girl's hand with a harmless look. "Thank you, Uncle Yaman Runner. Brother, let's go home. We won't buy anything first." The little girl held the money and had no intention of returning it. She thanked him and followed her brother to the place behind the stall. Her house was there. "Let's go. Don't ask blindly in the future." The Yaman Runner looked at Ditsong and Xiao Tsong and gave them a warning before letting them go. They didn't believe that there would be people who would cheat children in the night market. In the night market, some of the original wanderers had changed to small businesses. They would naturally help the people in the county. Otherwise, if young Master Zhou knew that they didn't do anything, he wouldn't let them go. In the study of the house next to the yamen, a person was holding a pen in his hand and was writing something. Suddenly, light footsteps came to the door. "Who is there?" The person put down the pen and asked. "Young Master Ditsong and I are back." Xiao Tsong's voice came. "Well, come in." The young master made a nasal sound and let them in. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong opened the door and walked in. They stood side by side in front of the young master and lowered their heads without making a sound. The young master looked at the two of them up and down and said, "Did you lose them?" "Young master, you are really good at predicting things." Ditsong flattered. "Predict what? I know that the two of you are stupid. 3 times. 3 times. 3 times in one day. My face is lost because of you. I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose. I was warning me. I was laughing at me. My subordinates are only so capable and I still dare to send them out. That's what I wanted to say." The young master said. He smiled bitterly and said to the two of them, "It's not your fault. I underestimated them. Come and take a look. There are a few pictures. Look at them and you will know how to lose them." The young master took a few pieces of paper from the desk and threw them in front of the two of them. "Young master, you are amazing. You figured out how to hide so quickly." Xiao Tsong picked up the paper and flattered him. "They sent you to the door of the house. Since you are in, don't go out today. Just stay in the house." "Why?" "Ditsong and I still need to arrange people." Xiao Tsong picked up the paper and was about to look at it. "Only entry and not exit. The bailiffs have already surrounded them. The news can't be spread. The people outside don't dare to fight with the bailiffs without orders. Look, I will show you what means." The young master said helplessly. Ditsong and Xiao Tsong understood. They lowered their heads and looked at the pictures on the paper. According to the order, it was a car, a boat, and a night market. The two of them looked at it and their eyes widened. "Little Tsong Aya, if we had known earlier, we would have hired the remaining 2 cars. It's interesting that there are people on board. I'll remember it. Ditsong seemed to have learned a lot and said happily. Xiaozong nodded. Yes, it was the same at the night market. They actually put on clothes and found 2 children of similar age. When they were squeezing, they used those people to protect them to make us believe that it was still the 2 of them. Young master, don't worry. The next time they take a car, board a boat, and go to the night market to change people, Ditsong and I will definitely follow them. 20 whips per person. Take it yourself. Next time they will change. You have become stupid today. Get out. The young master didn't blame the 2 of them for not being able to follow. The other party's means were too powerful. But now they were still stupid. He finally couldn't help it. Chapter 209. He waited for Ditsong and Xiaozong to leave dejectedly. He pondered for a while, picked up the brush, and wrote 2 more lines. He blew the ink dry, folded the letter, and put it in the envelope. He thought for a while, then threw it on the table. He put on a coat, got up, and walked to the door. He stood in the middle of the house, looked at the night sky, and listened to the sounds coming from outside. He shook his head and turned back. When he reached the door, someone came over and asked, "Master, do we need to rush out? There are still some people in the house." "No need, come with me," the master said as he walked to the study, picked up the letter he had just written, and handed it to the person. "Go to the door later and give this letter to them. Tell them to hand it to Song Jinggong. We can leave tomorrow." "Master, there is no need to do this. It is just a zhuangzi," the person advised. "Oh." The master did not want to say more. He just spat out 2 words, sat there and closed his eyes. Slap. It is such a cold night, and there are mosquitoes. A slap was heard, followed by a complaint. Li Sun and the rest had been hurrying along. They only rested for a while during dinner. They could not sleep for a while, and walked for more than 2 hours before they found a way to rest. They did not have a tent, as it was too heavy. They had brought some before, but when they set off, they changed it for food. Beside Li Sun, there were also people who had come down with him. In total, there were about 30 people. The rest were new recruits. The 30 or so people used their knives to cut down the withered grass around them. They twisted them into ropes and lit them up. Especially those with wormwood, it would be better. In the midst of the smoke, they spread out their blankets and slept. Next to them was a bonfire that they had lit, and they took turns to keep watch. The newcomers had also prepared a lot of things and learned from them. Even so, there were still mosquitoes that were bold enough to rush over and bite them. As for whether they had the strength to fly back, that was unknown. "Don't make a sound, the others still need to sleep." Hearing the noise, Li Sun warned. The one who spoke just now was Han Yongyao. After being taught a lesson, he became well-behaved. Listening to the buzzing sound in his ears, he couldn't fall asleep at all. He also brought a blanket, but because he was a little fat, he couldn't cover himself with it, unlike the others who covered themselves with half of their blanket. There were also those who were slightly fatter. They gritted their teeth and only cared about covering their bodies. Underneath their bodies was a mat of dried grass. It was just a little prickly, but it was better than being stared at by mosquitoes. "Brother Xingyi, are you asleep?" "I can't sleep." Han Yongyao didn't dare to speak loudly. He could only whisper to Brother Xingyi, who was lying beside him. "No, I can't sleep either. If this goes on, I'll be finished in a few days. Do you think we'll be beaten up if we quit?" Xingyi felt regret in his heart. He felt that he shouldn't have come here. At first, he wanted to find something new and get to know his imperial nephew. How could he have known that he would suffer so much? "Yes, as long as we retreat, we don't know how many hits we'll have to endure. Brother Xingyi, after we poison them, can we let them know how powerful I am? Help me think." Han Yongyao felt that it would be too easy on Zhongjia Zhuangzi if he only poisoned some fish. Originally, he wanted to poison the poultry, but the person who was arranged to poison them said that the poultry were not poisonous. If they were locked up at night and really woke up in the middle of the night to eat, it would be too noisy and would be discovered. Therefore he changed to poison the fish. Let me think. Hee brother Yong Yao, they have a forest. What do you think will happen if we burn it? Why don't we set it on fire and find someone to set it on their side at night? Don't set it on your side. That will arouse suspicion. Just pay attention to the direction of the wind. Xingyi rolled his eyes twice and immediately came up with an idea. Hearing this, Han Yongyao nodded happily. After a while he sighed and said, "No, this really can't be done. If it is discovered, my family will be finished. There are mulberry trees in the forest near his house. If the mulberry trees are destroyed, perhaps the emperor will personally investigate and think of something else. I will remember this and use it when there is no other way. We have to find someone reliable. When the time comes, we will run away after setting the fire. I will think about it again. Think about it. Tell me something else. For example, his family has a restaurant. Little Luo Shui also has a business there." Xingyi pondered for a moment and felt that it was indeed too dangerous. If he was caught, he would be exposed and his family would also be implicated. Restaurant. Also open a restaurant to go against them. No, I don't have that ability. Restaurant between the clouds and the water is in the water. It is better to find someone who is good at swimming and break the pillars of their restaurant under the water bit by bit. Destroy a little bit every day. After a long time they will have to rebuild it. That will cost a lot of money. If that didn't work, he could eat in a separate room on the second floor. He could use a bamboo tube to store more ants. When he was eating, he could secretly make a few small holes and put the ants inside. He could change the location every day. It would be best to put ants in all the rooms on the second floor. If you have more money, you can eat on the rooftop. You can also put more ants there. In a few days, the restaurant will be emptied. Little Luo Shui's family does the same. Who would have thought that you were the one who did it? Xingyi indeed had a lot of bad ideas. In just a short while he had thought of two. Hearing the second one, Han Yongyao finally decided to choose this one. It was really too good. He only needed to put more ants. When the wood was almost finished, the restaurant would be finished. Brother Xingyi, don't worry. As long as I get my revenge, I won't forget about you in the future. That's what I'll do. Tomorrow I'll find someone to eat with. First, I'll make it through this journey. I don't want to be beaten. Han Yongyao thanked. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. It was as if the restaurant would collapse tomorrow. He could not sleep even more. Being able to help Brother Yongyao get revenge, I am also happy. Go to sleep, tomorrow we will have to hurry again. Xingyi replied. He turned around and closed his eyes tightly. He wanted to sleep early, but in his heart, he also thought that his idea was brilliant. In addition, when the wind blew, it was a little cold, so he could not sleep. They could not sleep, but Li Sun fell asleep. It was also the method that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan taught him. That was to think about his own breathing. After every breath, he would feel that his body had no strength. Thinking about it made him sleepy. Thinking about it, he would forget about it and fall asleep. The people who followed them watched their child suffer. They really did not understand what the imperial nephew was trying to do. If it continued like this, it was hard to say whether the child could bear it. Why did he have to live outside? Wasn't it the same at home? They lived in tents while the child lay on the grass. There were mosquitoes. It was heartbreaking to see. Under the curtain of night, 3 figures appeared in Zhuangzi. The light of the stars and the moon was blocked by the drifting clouds in the sky, so people could not see clearly. Big brother, it's here. Pour the things into the pond and leave immediately. They won't find us. Which pond is it? How many ponds are there here? I heard that only one pond is dedicated to raising fish. The others are not cared about. If there are wild fish, they will grow them. If there are none, they won't release the fry. The 3 people were all wearing dark gray clothes. When they approached the small bridge, one of them whispered, The dark was good for them, but at the same time they could not see clearly. In order not to be suspected, they only let another person come to check during the day. They listened to the information provided by this person and judged. Should be in front. There is a big tree next to it. Be careful. Don't alarm the dog. It will be over when the dog barks. Go, let's go. A rough voice sounded. Then the three figures crossed the small bridge and took a detour to the market. Big brother, look, this is the market. There are also some simple houses. I heard that there are goods inside. Do you want to steal some on the way back? The three people hid in the shadow of a house. The person who spoke first said again, "Don't worry about that. Today we are only poisoning. If we delay our business, we will be beaten when we go back. Go lower, lower. Don't let people see us." The big brother was steady and focused on the task. The three of them passed by this area and continued to move forward. Just as they left the shadow where they had been hiding, the wooden board of that area was suddenly pulled open from the inside. A person walked out and looked around. Then, with the same caution, he ran to a house on the opposite side. He gently scratched the door a few times. After a while, the door was pulled open. "Someone is here to make trouble. You go and find them. I will keep an eye on them," the person who came out first said. He turned around and followed the three people. At the same time, he pulled out a short knife from his waist. The person behind the door also ran out. After a few dozen steps, he came to the grocery store. He climbed up the ladder on the side until he reached the top. He squeezed into a small compartment that could only fit one person. He took out a fire sickle and lit a candle. Then, he put a bronze mirror behind the candle and shone it at a high place in front of him. When that place was lit up, he blew out the candle and climbed down. He also took out a short knife and followed the first person. The three people who came here to poison didn't know that the Zhang family and Wang family were so strict in Zhuangzi. He thought that it would be fine and was prepared to go back and enjoy himself for a few days after he was done. After walking for a while, the three of them were suffering. They entered the paddy field. Although they were well hidden, they would always accidentally kick the stubble under their feet. "Big brother, there is a rice paddy in front. Go and rest there. I fell to my death." One of them was tripped several times. His face was scratched. Under the dim moonlight, he saw a rice paddy in front of him. "Okay, don't worry. We have a whole night. You can take it slow." The big brother also felt that it was a good place to hide. The three people changed their direction slightly and went there. Just as they went there, more than 30 people appeared in Zhuangzi. They also went to the rice paddy. There were also people guarding there. They were afraid that someone would ignite the rice paddy. The Zhuangzi was still useful. Chapter 210. Deep in the night, heavy with dew, cold wind, how can I stroll in the fields? Where did the drunken words of three people come from? Face to face, they moved in a daze. He was too lazy to use torture. He let them show off and only dug holes in the ground. Don't mention the fact that he is a noble. For the sake of the long term, he buries the short-term pain. The three people who wanted to poison the pond were caught. They couldn't imagine how much energy, money, and manpower Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had invested in this area in order to have a stable backing. According to their respective understanding of reconnaissance, anti-reconnaissance, capture and anti-capture, the two of them specially carried out a series of offensive and defensive drills. They made use of all the people in Zhuangzi as much as possible. With the same weapons and the same physical fitness, they could resist 3 times the number of troublemakers. Thus, the operation codenamed My Zhuangzi, I'm in charge, was launched. The emergency light code was 3 short, 3 long and 3 short. If one had to give it another meaning, it would be send, 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 send. For this reason, Wang Wan had also drawn a 3-dimensional defensive map of the Zhang family and Zhuangzi family. It was the kind of 3-dimensional defensive map of the Zhang family, Wang family, and Wang family. It was the type where the 3 forces were integrated into one, and the goal was to cooperate in battle. Later, due to the limited resources at hand, they could only create a land defense system at a few important locations. Other than the main family's courtyard, there were no visible sentries, only hidden sentries. The main reason was that there were too few people available. With the members of the Zhuangzi protection team as the main body, they set up such hidden sentry posts at any place that Zhang Xiaobao or herself thought they could sneak into Zhuangzi. They were also equipped with a second echelon to focus on the defense. For example, the straw pile could not be burned, as it would affect next year's grain production. They had specially arranged people inside, and the other places were also deployed according to the temporary combat mission that the two of them had formulated. If it weren't for the short time, Wang Wan would have even planned to build a Zhuangzi between the Zhang family and the Wang family. She would also be able to reach the underground network between the clouds and the water through the river. Unwilling to give up, Wang Wan planned to complete this within 3 years. She planned to ambush millions of soldiers to try a sneak attack. When this plan had first been made, the Manor Lord didn't understand. All he knew was that if the Manor Lord wanted him to watch, then he would do it. The people in the inner courtyard didn't understand either, but they knew that whatever the little ancestor said was right. Tonight, after more than 30 people with hunters' weapons surrounded the three of them, the villagers admired the master, and the people in the inner courtyard praised the little ancestor. "What are you doing? I haven't had enough yet." Old Third, who was surrounded by more than a dozen people, narrowed his eyes and shouted, "What wine? Who are you trying to fool? You want to poison the pond. Are you blind? Do you think that the bridge is so easy to cross? Keep pretending, keep pretending. Captain, the three of them want to poison the fish in Zhuangzi. I heard them clearly." The person hiding in the wall pointed at Lao San, who was sitting on the ground, and said angrily. The captain was chosen by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan from more than 700 people, so he was naturally not that simple. He sneered and said, "It's not poisonous fish. They drank too much. Go and get some wine from the grocery store. Get a jar and let him drink it. If he can't drink it, just throw it into the pond." The three people beside him immediately ran to the grocery store. They knew how big the jar should be. It was like a water tank, the kind that was buried in the ground. Each jar contained 40 to 50 catties, so they wouldn't die from drinking it. "Get those two people here too. There's no need to treat the three of them like this. It's good to divide and surround them, but there are too few opponents. It's not worth it." The captain of the protection team called out again. He didn't know whether to be happy or angry now. This was the first time that the protection team had encountered someone who came to cause trouble, and he caught them. When the time came, the Manor Lord would definitely be satisfied with them. However, someone really dared to have ideas about Zhuangzi. It was obvious that they looked down on the protection team and treated them as decorations. The most infuriating thing was that the three people came just to poison the fish. There weren't many fish left in the pond. Most of them were taken to the mountains and would sprout again at the beginning of spring. They would grow up together with the lotus flowers. Even if they were poisoned, there were only a few fish left. The owner of the fish in the pond had already agreed half a month ago that they would share the fish with the villagers during the new year. The three of them were really capable. If they had the guts, they could go to the goose farm and poison them. They wouldn't be able to kill them. Why don't they try going to the Manor Lord's courtyard? They could go to the kitchen and poison the Manor Lord. Let's see if they had the ability. They spent a lot of effort to come here just to poison the fish that would be shared with the villagers. This kind of people was the most hateful. The 7-year-old boy in the family even said that after the fish were shared, he would make a wire plate on the stove and roast fish for his 3-year-old sister. If the fish were poisoned, what was the point of roasting it? Bullying my child. Let's wait. After a while, the wine was brought over and piled on the ground. Just by listening to the muffled sound, one could imagine how much wine was inside. The three people who were caught gathered together. The one who was the big brother finally spoke. "Don't waste your time. Even if we drink to death, we won't say who sent us here. Use your methods and see if you can pry open the mouths of our three brothers." Good, I like people like you. Straightforward and straightforward. Dig a hole. The Manor Lord has instructed us that anyone who speaks like this is not an ordinary person. We can't afford to offend them. If we find out, it will be even more troublesome. Bury them as fertilizer. Give the people behind them an explanation. Tomorrow morning, release the news that the 3 drunkards drowned in the river. Bury them. The captain snorted in disdain. After giving the order, he turned around and left. Seeing that the captain had left, the remaining people split up and went to the grocery store to get some things. After a while, they came back with shovels in their hands. They were divided into about 10 people and started to dig a hole. The sound of shovels being kicked, the sound of dirt being thrown, and the sound of breathing mixed together. Those who didn't know would think that they were building a house. What scared the 3 of them the most was that under the dim light of the lantern, a person was kneeling on the ground. He was placing incense, candles, yellow paper and other things one by one. He was muttering. "The King of Hell's palace has inquired. You must tell us in detail who you are. Why come here to seek death and build a new grave in the middle of the field?" Looking at the hometown on the terrace, helplessness has become a soul. Henceforth, yin and yang are separated into 2 worlds. Father and mother at home have nothing to eat. Where is father when I learn to speak? Late at night, widows are stained with tears. When I come, people talk about riches and honor. Who cares about the old and young when they die? I don't burn paper candles for myself. I only hope for peace in the netherworld. If the judge says to throw me into a pot of oil, give him 300 taels of silver. Give me a few more incense and candles. It will be easier to live in the next life. Perhaps my wife will also be reincarnated. I'm afraid that we won't hear each other if we brush past each other. Then I'll burn yellow paper as a bundle. Remember, don't bury me. I'll tell you. The Han family in Zhuangzi asked us to come here. Hunyongyao, it's him. It's all him. He said that he would give each of us 10 taels of silver. Also, it was a young master from Zhuangzi who came up with the idea. They are now living in the wilderness. I have an old mother at home. My father died early. My mother raised me. I also have a new wife. She's already 4 months old. In half a year there will be a descendant. I said, don't bury me. The youngest of the 3, Lao San, couldn't hold it in anymore. He shouted and told everything he knew. The sound of digging was gone, and so was the sound of muttering. The people around them looked at the 3 of them and did not move. The person who was burning paper candles stood up and said to the others, "Let's go. Tie the 3 of them up. Separate them and bring them to the main house. I'll go find the housekeeper." "Lao-san, you're confused. They're just scaring you. Why did you say it? What about your family? Will they let you go?" The eldest brother didn't have time to stop him. He let Lao-san say it out loud. He was very upset. The person who was burning paper candles frowned and asked Lao-san, "Is he your brother?" "No." Lao-san was also confused and answered casually. With a bang, a shovel hit the eldest brother's face. He didn't know how much strength he used, but he directly knocked the eldest brother out. It's good that he's not. He can't live. The people from the yamen will come in a while. He and the one who came with you should be the second brother, right? They're going to the yamen. You should stay in Zhuangzi first. You were caught but you didn't say anything. The person who burned paper candles didn't have any pity for the others. No, my second brother is mute. He never speaks. I haven't heard him speak for a few years. He only knows how to use his hands to draw. Lao-san quickly pleaded for mercy. "Okay, then stay here first. I'll tell the housekeeper to send something to your house so that you can give birth to the child. There's no need to tell me. You'll be in charge of these things in the future. Yong, I'll talk to Master Madam and let you have the surname Zhang. In the future you'll be in charge of these things." At this time, Steward Zhang also rushed over. As soon as the person who burned paper candles finished speaking, Steward Zhang gave away some of his power. "Steward Zhang, what are you talking about? I wouldn't dare. Your captain told me that you were the one who came up with the idea. You should do your job well in the yard. If it were me today, I wouldn't be as good as you. There are more and more things going on in Zhuangzi, and I can't manage them all. I'll be relieved if there's one more smart person." Steward Zhang knew what Yu Yong was thinking and said with a smile. In fact, he didn't want to give away his power, but he knew that the young master and young madam had already spread their influence. He couldn't do it alone. If he seized power, the old madam and old master might not say anything. Madam and master might be willing to accept it. But what about the young master and young madam? Unless he did everything well, otherwise, if something happened and he still didn't want to let go of the power, he didn't want to think about the consequences. At that time, he would make the little young master and little miss unhappy, so he might as well hand over the matter now. Were the young master and young madam ordinary people? That kind of scheming didn't even need to meet them. They could tell what the owners of the grain store were thinking just by listening to what they said. They would never allow their subordinates to take control of things that they couldn't control. "Thank you, Steward Zhang. I'll listen to you in the future. I'll do whatever you ask me to do," Yu Yong said gratefully. Steward Zhang was shocked. Don't listen to me. Listen to Madam, Master, Old Madam and Old Master, and also the young master and young madam. You'll know in the future. If you really want to listen to me, then you'd better continue with your current work." Chapter 211. After saying this, Steward Zhang rejoiced in his heart. It was fortunate that he had listened to his father and thought for Zhuangzi. He did not fight for the power of madam and master, nor did he bully the young master. Otherwise he would have been buried. He had dreamt of the young master's big eyes and charming smile many times at night. Every time he would wake up with a start. He did not know why, but when he saw the young master during the day, he felt a kind of innate coldness in his dreams, especially the gaze in his eyes, which seemed to be staring at him all the time. Yu Yong did not know what Steward Zhang was thinking, but when he heard Steward Zhang's words, he quickly nodded in agreement. He ordered people to push the 3 people who wanted to cause trouble into the yard. It did not take long before the yamen runners stationed here rushed over. There were 3 people in total, and the leader was someone Zhuangzi knew. It was Chen Dong. "Sir, I am innocent. We 3 brothers drank too much and accidentally walked here. They beat us and asked us to say that we were here to do bad things. Sir, I am innocent. Sir, you dropped your money." The big brother was no longer as calm as he usually was. Perhaps it was because he felt that this was an opportunity, so he shouted at the 3 yamen runners, hoping to get some help. At the same time, he also rushed forward. He pulled Chen Dong's hand and shook out a string of 60 copper coins and 2 silver beans from his sleeve. These coins added up to 4 taels of silver. He threw them directly at Chen Dong's feet. If his hands were not tied in front of him, he might have been able to move more gracefully. When Chen Dong picked up the coins, the big brother turned his head to look at Steward Zhang and Yu Yong. His meaning was self-evident. Steward Zhang saw his gaze and turned his head away. Yu Yong laughed in a low voice, which made him confused. With a bang, Chen Dong kicked the big brother in the chest and kicked him 3 meters away. He said, "I dropped the money, but I always put it in the money bag at my waist. How could I drop it? You dared to steal money with your hands tied. Let him know how powerful you are." As Chen Dong spoke, he took a step back. The 2 yamen runners next to him immediately rushed up and started beating him up. One of them cursed as he beat him up. "Are you blind? How dare you steal Brother Chen's money? You didn't steal it well, but you still pretended that Brother Chen dropped his money. I let you steal it, but how dare you? Even young Master Zhou doesn't have to smile at us, and you want to cause trouble here? Do you think Sanshui County is your home?" The other one was even more ruthless. He specifically chose the most painful places to hit. He also scolded, "Zhang family and Wang family Zhuangzi are slandering you? Why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror? Who do you think you are? If they could poison the pond today, they could poison other places tomorrow. What if they got on the fungus? What if it gets on the cucumber? I can see that you want to poison my 70-year-old grandmother to death. Brother Chen's child is only 1 year old, and you can do it. I'll beat you to death. Just you wait. When we get back, I'll let you know what's good for you. You can cause trouble anywhere, but you came here. Fine, you're good. I usually change into normal clothes when I cross the bridge when I have nothing to do. You're making trouble for us. Good, you have a backbone. You made us come here in the middle of the night. No, Your Excellency, I'm innocent. This big brother was beaten silly. He gave away 4 taels of silver and received such treatment. How much could yeoman runners earn in a year? It was only a few hundred copper coins a month. This money was equivalent to a year's salary. Why was he beaten? Brother Chen, what's going on? While one of them was shouting and the other 2 were cowering at the side, Father Zhang heard the commotion and came out of the study. Zhang family clan members were 1 step behind, and they also came out. When Chen Dong saw the master come out, he gave them a look and they stopped. He stepped forward and bowed. Your Excellency, it's all my fault. I didn't do a good job and let people come to Zhuangzi to poison you. Fortunately, I didn't succeed. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have the face to return home. My father will beat me to death if he knows. I'm an adult and I can't even watch over a person. I'm too ashamed to go back. Your Excellency, don't worry. I'll take care of this matter and give you an explanation. Tomorrow, no, tonight I'll take people to watch over the bridge. I'll take a 24-hour shift. If something like this happens again, I'll jump off the mountain behind Xiao Luoshui. Father Zhang looked at the person who was beaten and said, Brother Chen, you're treating me like an outsider. The Zhang family and Wang family have never had any adults in Zhuangzi. Both families have children. I wonder if Uncle Chen's body is still healthy. It's cold these days. I heard that Uncle Chen's legs are inconvenient. Someone go to the 5th storeroom and get some medicinal herbs to expel the cold. Remember, pick the big ones. Brother Chen, I've been busy these days. You know that I usually don't care about things. I forgot about Uncle Chen's matter. I heard that Brother Chen's little boy is very sensible. When he goes back later, bring a bell. Gold is too heavy. Let's make it silver. Madam, how do we set up the Kong bed? It's getting colder. Last year my father's legs were cold. It's good that he was able to live on a Kong bed. Get someone to set one up for people like Brother Chen in Sanshui County. Prepare some charcoal and buy the firewood locally. Husband, you're right. It's my fault for not being thoughtful enough. Husband, don't worry. I'll remember this. When the firewood is hot, it'll smoke. Husband, it's cold at night. You should put on a coat. Although Zhang Wang family was usually in charge of the family, she really gave face to Father Zhang at this time. She spoke softly and didn't make any excuses. What does a woman know? Do we still have fungus at home? It's easy to cough in this season. Eat some to clear your lungs. Father Zhang was the head of the family, so he should act like one. Moreover, he was an official. He was rank 7, which was not low. Zhang Wang family was still gentle. Husband, you're right. I'll get someone to get it. There's still some in the 5th storeroom. 5th storeroom. Father Zhang hesitated. 5th storeroom belonged to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan usually sent part of their income to the storerooms of the Zhang family and Wang family. Both families knew that the Zhang family's 5th storeroom was the biggest. There was basically everything in there. Things that flew in the sky, ran on the ground, swam in the water, and dug in the grass. There were also silver and copper coins. Anything that could be seen on a normal day could be found there. Father Zhang had just taken the herbs from his son's storeroom. He felt a little embarrassed to take the fungus at this time. Husband, although the gatekeeper of the 5th storeroom is a little stingy, he can't wait to be happy when father wants to take something. Speaking of Uncle Chen's children, I thought of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. Those 2 children are the best. Zhang Wang family hinted. Father Zhang immediately understood. His son and daughter-in-law would never get angry with the family. His position was given to him by his son. This was the good thing about having an immortal son. He never had to worry about it. Everything at home was arranged well for him. He was sensible and obedient. When he was taught something, he would also learn it seriously. Thinking of this, Father Zhang became more confident and ordered, "It's not easy for the bailiffs in the yamen to run around all day. When there's a lot of dust, they'll get cold. When they cough, they'll get sick. Send half a catty each." "You're right, husband. Understand. Tomorrow morning I'll send not only the black fungus but also the white fungus. Half a gene of the same thing." Madame Zhang still echoed, as if her existence was to add luster to Father Zhang. Besides, half a catty was really not a lot. It was not like the fungus was dry. Half a catty was the same as half a catty when it was wet. It was fine to give it to them. Every yamen runner had the same amount. It seemed like a lot, but who asked the family to grow it? Looking at the situation in front of them, the benefits were reflected. Not to mention that this person was really here to poison them. Even if he wasn't, he would still do whatever he wanted. This had little to do with the man's official position. He was just a 7th-ranked official. The yamen runners did things according to the ancient records. You couldn't find fault with it. The reason why Chen Dong did this was because Zhuangzi was so good to him that he took care of every family member. The beating was almost done. It was time to send them to the yamen. Chen Dong didn't say a word of thanks. He waved his hand at the 2 yamen runners and walked out with the eldest brother of the 3. "You can't arrest me. Do you know who sent me here? The Han family. It's Han." One of the 2 yamen runners who escorted them swung his hand and hit the eldest brother until his mouth was full of blood. "What are you talking about? Which family? Didn't you hear it? Wait for the Zhang family to say it. Poison. Who asked you to poison them? Fish will die if they eat it. People will also die if they eat fish. You are killing people." Of course, Chen Dong wouldn't let them say it out loud. When the time came, whether to advance or retreat would depend on the Zhang family. Otherwise, why would they send him and a few yamen runners here to guard? The eldest brother had been beaten senseless and was dragged out. As for the remaining 2, the 3rd brother was already sitting on the ground, his face full of fear. He finally understood that he had only thought of the Han clan's abilities. After crossing the province, the Han clan was useless, and the Zhang clan was the most powerful one. The yamen runners from Sanshui County were like servants who did whatever they said. If something happened, they would be punished. If they fought with the Han family, they would be courting death. Only the 2nd brother's expression didn't change much. It was as if he already knew that this would happen. Or perhaps, he was always like this no matter what situation he encountered. "Let me tell you, you are finished. You have offended the Han family. In this place no one is not afraid. Me go. 3rd brother, you actually dared to join the enemy. Your family won't have a good life." The eldest brother, with blood flowing out of his mouth, seemed to have recovered a little. He didn't suffer internal injuries just now. It was only at the last moment that he broke his mouth and shouted. Chen Dong didn't care what he shouted. Who was the Han family? It was useless. Unless the emperor came, there was no need to care. The prince was in charge of this province. Was the Han family powerful? The imperial nephew's Zhuangzi was next to him. He took note of these words and signed them together. Eldest brother is done for this time. The 2nd brother, who had been silent all this time, suddenly opened his mouth. Chapter 212. 2nd brother, you can speak. Lao San was the most surprised. Even though he was worried about his family's situation, he still looked at his 2nd brother, who had never spoken before, in fear. "Yes. If you don't speak now, you won't have the chance to speak anymore. The Han family chose the wrong opponent. Zhuangzi Zhang family and Wang family are not that simple. In the entire Sanshui County, unless the emperor gives the order, no one can control them." Lao Er's voice was a little hoarse when he spoke. It was unknown whether it was because his throat was not good or because he had not spoken for a long time. Lao San had to admit that Zhuangzi Zhang family and Wang family were very powerful in Sanshui County. He had heard them say that they would give away half a caddy of black fungus and half a caddy of white fungus. The Yamen runners in the county must have reported it if they had any problems. He just didn't know if the other secretaries and deputy county magistrates had been bribed. He was still sober. He knew that the county magistrate had already left and a new one was coming. During this time, the county affairs were handed over to the deputy county magistrate and the secretaries. If they wanted to convict someone, they didn't even have to report it or hide it. However, he was also afraid that his family would be implicated. He sat there with a sad expression and said, "What about my family?" "Family? You still think about your family. Why don't you think about other people's families after you poison them? What if someone accidentally eats it and dies from the poison? Have you thought about that?" Ergo appeared at the entrance of Zhuangzi. It would have been better if he didn't listen to Lao San. After hearing what he said, he suddenly couldn't control himself and shouted at Lao San. "It's not easy for me either. It's all for some money. If the fish in the pond die, the master family will just have to pay some compensation." Lao San really didn't know what to say and could only use this excuse. Ergo heard his words and laughed again. Compensation. The master family is indeed not afraid of compensation. Don't talk about poisoning these fish. You can also poison something else. As long as it's not a person, you can see if Zhang family and Wang family can pay for it. However, these fish no longer belong to the master family a few days ago. They are the food of the 2 Zhuangzi farmers for the new year. There are few of my fish in there. If you poison the fish, what do you want us to eat? We'll eat you. If each of us takes a bite of you, you won't even have enough bones to gnaw on. Don't even think about getting better. Hearing Ergo's words, Ergo was even more frightened. He curled up and didn't dare to make a sound. Ergo had no choice but to say, "We want to live well. Who doesn't want to live well? You want to live well, so you want to poison our fish?" Ergo said contemptuously. "Brother Ergu, now is not the time to talk about this. Master, madam, I'm Lu. I'm going to ask someone to find his family. Do you have any family?" At this moment, a little girl stepped out from behind Ergo. She looked at Father Zhang and Jiang Wang clan and pointed at Ergo. "No, I have no family." "Who are you? What are you doing?" "Lu Er. I've never heard of them. Are the Zhang and Wang families from Zhuangzi?" The second son looked back at him, his gaze as cold as ever. Lu Er wasn't afraid at all. She said, "I'm Lu Er Feng Lu. I was helping Brother Ergu settle the accounts tonight. I heard some commotion here, so I came over. Master, madam, quickly go and save him. This person is not bad." Lu Er continued to point at Ergo as she spoke. If it were someone else who said this, Father Zhang wouldn't have cared at all. Similarly, Mother Zhang and Jiang Wang clan wouldn't have agreed. However, since it was the little girl in front of them, they had no choice but to consider it. His son and daughter-in-law had always thought highly of Lu Er. They had given her a lot of things. They even gave her a courtyard between the clouds and the water for her family to live in. There seemed to be no one who could receive such treatment from his son and daughter-in-law. They couldn't see it themselves, but they believed in their son's abilities. "Housekeeper, I'll leave this matter to you. Lu Er is a good child," Mother Zhang said to Steward Zhang after glancing at Father Zhang. After that, she left with Father Zhang. "Ciao, did I say a lot of things today that I shouldn't have?" Mr. Zhang felt that he had been a little unreasonable just now, especially to his wife. Mother Zhang was only in her 20s. She wasn't old at all. When she heard this, she smiled and replied, "Husband, you're not wrong. Mother used to tell me that in front of outsiders, a man's words are always right. As long as I'm by his side, even if he's wrong, the woman has to take care of him. Mother said that a good wife can help her man avoid all dangers. The man stands in front, while the woman stands behind. When there's trouble, the man goes first. When the man makes a mistake, the woman has to take care of it. This is a family. The rise and fall of a family can't be without women. Xiao Bao said that we're going to see the lake. Husband, bring me there next year. Look at the lake. It's calmer than the human heart. Look at the thousands of people who welcome you. Look at the fragrant flowers and green grass. Look at the green mountains and clear water. Autumn is fine as well. The leaves are red and sparkling, and the crescent moon hangs in the sky. Go with the waves. Who cares if it's the mortal world or the netherworld? Ciao. Husband, you were reading in the study room today and didn't know some things. Little Luo Shui sent a letter saying that our daughter-in-law casually wrote something. La la la, you're the wind and I'm the sand. When the duckweed blows, we're like a flower. Occasionally I laugh and fall. Mother Zhang didn't wait for Father Zhang to say anything and interrupted. And the sentence is ordinary. It's not easy to write something like that from a child who's not even 3 years old. I'll teach them properly in the future. Unfortunately, madam, why don't you teach them? She's a talented woman. Wei Wei nodded her head. She didn't praise her daughter-in-law much, but she was very satisfied with her daughter-in-law. It wasn't easy for her to write something like that at such a young age. Especially the 3 words la 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 at the beginning. It expressed the mentality of a child. If it was written by an adult, it might be better. Mother Zhang was also very satisfied with Wang Wan. Not only did she write something like that, but more importantly, she had always been by Xiao Bao's side, helping him to come up with ideas and find loopholes. She knew very well that the 2 children had been thinking about Zhuangzi for countless nights. Other than when the guards were asleep, the 2 children were still thinking of ideas. They couldn't hear clearly what they were saying, but there would always be new arrangements the next day. For example, they were the ones who suggested catching the culprit. At that time, they only thought that the children wanted to play and let them play. Who knew that the culprit was so powerful that they really encountered danger? Madam, what are you thinking about? Why don't you go back and rest? If you give Baolang a younger brother or sister, will he be as smart as Xiao Bao? A girl like Yaowen would be fine too. Father Zhang was still fantasizing about having another child. The boy would be like Zhang Xiaobao and the girl would be like Wang Wan. My husband says so, then so be it. What I want to say is that the handwriting of Yaowen is different from what we've seen before. I don't have the ability to teach a child. As long as he has enough to eat and clothes to keep him warm, that's enough. There are no more talented women in this world. Only Zhang Wangshi and Xiaobao's mother. If anyone thinks they're good, they can compete with me. If they give birth to a child like Xiaobao, she will be scared to death at Shuiyun Denver, Mother Zhang said proudly. Father Zhang didn't want to hold his son too high. Otherwise it would be very painful if he fell. What's between the clouds and the water? In the future you have to take care of him properly. Don't always spoil him. You are always reading by yourself and never care about your son. Mother Zhang said unhappily when she saw that there was no one else around. Father Zhang didn't care about this change in attitude at all. Who asked Xiao Er to be liked by his parents? She cooked well and knew how to take care of people. Most importantly, her literary talent was better than his. Ever since she married into the family, she never showed it in front of outsiders. She only focused on taking care of the courtyard and even managed it well. She was a talented woman of a generation. He was already climbing up the social ladder. Moreover, he must take the exam next year and raise his net worth to fight for Chao's face. Yes, madam is right. What's wrong with between the clouds and the water? Father Zhang was willing to compromise. For this family, he had done too little, especially before he obtained scholarly honors. As for this rank 7 official, that was obtained with the help of his son and daughter-in-law. Hundreds of thousands of caddies of grain were given out for free. More than 30,000 domestic animals were released. The bribe of the county, the contribution of the province, the auspicious signs of the imperial court, no matter which one it was all controlled by his son and daughter-in-law. Even the respect of the bailiffs was not understood by others, but he knew that they were not respectful to him, the master of the house. They were grateful for the benefits that the master of the house had given them. These benefits were ingrained in their bones and were not as simple as spending money. When a family's daughter-in-law gave birth to a child, they didn't give gifts of gold and silver. Instead, they gave gifts that the adults and children needed. When a family's elder celebrated his birthday, a group of carriages would be sent over to support the occasion. When a bailiff married his wife, firecrackers would be set off throughout the village. When a bailiff was injured, a doctor would rush over with medicine. According to his daughter-in-law, it was to let the bailiffs get used to the zhuangzi of Zhang family and Wang family. They would never have to think about it and would never forget it. Zhang Wang clan smiled at Father Zhang. Between the clouds and the water. That's not normal. Yongcheng, I'll tell you more when we're in the house. Today I owe 1.5 chapters. Yep, 1 chapter is 3,000 words. If it's not enough, I'll take half a chapter. A total of 2.5 chapters. I can't find an excuse. Trivial matters in the real world. Chapter 213. The culprits were caught. Zhang Wang clan and Zhang Ziyan's father came over to take a look and then went back to rest. Steward Zhang dealt with the aftermath. Luer watched from the side and gave 2 ideas. One was to treat the 2 captured people well so that they could be witnesses at critical moments. The other was to send people to fetch Lao San's family. Steward Zhang adopted the second idea. He sent the Miao protection team over. As for treating the 2 well, it would be good enough to tie them up and throw them into the woodshed. At least it would be better than their elder brother. He wondered what kind of treatment his elder brother would receive after he was caught by the bailiffs. Seeing the Miao protection team leave, Steward Zhang was not worried about whether they could bring them back. The other zhuangzi were not as strict as Zhang Wang and Wang clan. He ordered the guards in the inner courtyard. Huzi, quickly go to Xiao Luoshui and tell the little master what just happened. Huzi nodded and ran to the back to lead the horse. He took out a bag of water and 2 steamed buns from the wooden box at the door. This was specially prepared by Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao. There was not only food and water in the box, but also some simple medicine and small tools so that it would be convenient for people to use in emergencies. After all this, Steward Zhang could not fall asleep. Similarly, those who woke up were either excited or angry and could not fall asleep. Sitting in the side hall, Steward Zhang learned how Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan drank tea. He made himself a pot of strong tea and took a plate of snacks. He frowned and thought about something. A manservant who was usually in charge of running errands and doing chores stood beside him. Seeing that Steward Zhang did not drink the tea or eat the snacks, he just sat there and reminded him with a yawn. Steward Zhang, the tea is getting cold. Do we need to interrogate those 2 people? Ask more questions and wait until tomorrow morning. Master and Madam will be happy. Wait for the young master and the young lady. As long as nothing happens here, we can't casually interfere. Otherwise, if we make a mistake, it will disrupt the young master's plans. Steward Zhang gave the servant a warning look. As long as he took care of zhuangzi and made no mistakes, it would be a credit to him. When the young master did things, he had a long-term plan, and a casual move could make things difficult for the young master. Understand? I won't say what I shouldn't say. Steward Zhang, why do we need to dig 2 more rivers between the clouds and the water? Even if there is a fork, the water that flows down will still be the same. The manservant was shocked and almost got himself into trouble. The rule of the main family was that each person was in charge of their own business. If they did well in their own business, they could learn what others did and learn how to read and write. However, they could not casually meddle in other people's business. If they found that others were obviously doing something wrong, they could remind them. However, they could not deliberately wait and complain when they saw that others were about to do something wrong. If they wanted to fight for more benefits and make Master and Madam think highly of them, they had to weigh their own abilities. If they were not capable, then they should not go forward. If they wanted to use other people's methods to improve themselves, the first one to be punished would definitely be them. Therefore, the people in the main family were divided into ranks, but they could only be in charge and could not bully others. The main family did not need the scheming between the servants to balance the family. Steward Zhang was satisfied with the manservant's reaction. He poured 2 cups of tea and signaled for the manservant to sit aside and drink. Then he said thoughtfully, "We need to build buildings over there, and we need to build roads here. Digging 2 rivers is to divert the water. When the time comes, people will expand the pond there just like a small lake. We need to build buildings. Our main family is really rich. Steward Zhang, will there be so many people coming to build buildings? Between the clouds and the water is not bad now, and it is because some of the restaurants in Little Luoshui are connected to each other. The road in front of us has already been built this year. Do we still need to build it?" The manservant sat next to him excitedly. He had been in the side hall several times, but he had never sat here. Originally, there was no side hall in the main family, only a main hall. After Master became an official, the layout was changed. To be able to sit here, it seemed that his status was much higher. However, he did not quite understand what Steward Zhang said. "We need to build buildings. There are fewer people coming from the north, but there are still people coming from the south. The imperial grandson has been eyeing our family." Little young Master had no choice but to pull him in. Since the imperial grandson paid for it, he would naturally be willing to come here to play. There will be a lot of people coming. The road leads to the mountain. That mountain now belongs to our family. When the time comes, we can climb the mountain to play. We can walk back and forth between the restaurants here. The young lady has drawn a rough map. Find someone to build the buildings. The general layout has to be done according to the map. In the future, several restaurants will be connected together, and there will be a special corridor above. Steward Zhang said slowly at the side. The manservant listened without blinking. His face was full of yearning. He poured water for the housekeeper and listened to him continue. "And here 6 ponds will be connected. A corridor and a canal will be built in the middle. Flowers and plants will be planted on both sides. That way there will be a lot of water vapor. In the morning or at night it will be foggy. It's so beautiful. What should I say?" The manservant imagined the scenery and prepared to describe it with a word. However, he could not figure it out and could only be anxious. The young lady said that when the time comes, there will be green hills and buildings outside the mountains. We also need to plant some reeds. Below the restaurant, we will divide them into pieces so that boats can go back and forth. In the middle, we will build a platform with stones and a pavilion on it. 2 corridors will be connected to one of the restaurants and one here. Steward Zhang said. He was also looking forward to it. He would be able to see it next year. It seemed that his Zhuangzi could only be inhabited by immortals. The manservant opened his eyes wide and suddenly said, "I know. Planting reeds will attract many people. According to the meaning in the Book of Songs, there will be more women. The reeds are green, and the white dew is frost. The so-called lover is on the other side of the water. Tracing back from there, the road is long and obstructive. Tracing back from there, the water is in the center." Haha, it seems that you have learned something. Yes, that's the meaning. The mountain is in the center of the water. Planting reeds is not only for this. The feces at home need to be dried. The firewood is not enough from the mountain. When the time comes, we will use reeds instead and weave them into mats. Learn well. If you can learn 10% of the skills of the young master and the young lady, you will benefit a lot. The young master and the young lady's plans are never that simple. There are other things that I can't think of if the young master and the young lady didn't mention it. I can only guess about the road and the building. When Steward Zhang heard the manservant say reeds, he praised and then sighed with emotion. The manservant scratched his head embarrassedly and said with a smile, "Everyone in the master's family is learning. I don't want to fall behind. When the master's official position is higher in the future, I can't lose face for the master. I will work hard and do a good job. When the time comes, I will show those scholars what a person who can do chores in the Zhang family looks like." The more the manservant said, the more excited he became. He had memorized a lot of things and learned hundreds of words. He was working hard to practice writing. After saying this, he calmed down a little and said, "I have some confidence compared to the people outside, but I don't dare to compare with the young master and the young lady. Not to mention 10%, as long as I can compare with the two little ancestors in our family, I will be satisfied." When the manservant said this, he didn't feel modest at all. He really didn't dare to compare with the young master and the young lady. The two little ancestors' plans were as profound as they could be. When they collected grain and raised chickens last year, who would have thought that it was because of the locust plague? Unexpectedly, the master's family got 2 officials in exchange. Go to sleep. Don't delay tomorrow's work. After talking for a while, Steward Zhang finally felt sleepy. He told the manservant and got up to leave. The manservant tidied up the things on the table and went to the residence with his dream. Maybe he would have a good dream tonight. The wind twirled around the Mian, and the moon was half-curved. The Milky Way was full of stars, and the insects were silent. It was Yilanshan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were still awake. There was a letter in front of them. It was sent from that house. It was very clear that there was no malice in it. Just wanted to meet with the master. There is no signature. Who is it? If there is no malice, don't let people follow you. For us, stalking is malice. There are always eyes watching us. No one will be happy. Wang Wan observed the handwriting of this person, trying to figure out the character of the person who wrote it. Then let's have Song Jinggong talk about it tomorrow morning. Bring the 2 of us and see what is going on with this person. The letter you wrote was sent by their people, but they didn't send it directly to the house. Instead, they took a boat and split it into 2 places. Do you see anything? Zhang Xiaobao used his hand to support his chin. He was also thinking. He didn't know which aristocratic family sent this person, or which big official sent this person. Or maybe it was from a rich company. The style of writing is restrained. This person should be more stable. Doing a good job in the big picture means that this person often arranges things for others. His tone is slightly more self-centered. This means that his status is not low. In his heart, the 2 of us Zhuangzi are nothing. Wang Wan analyzed the letter as she read. This was what she did. She could write with her left and right hands. She knew a few types of characters. When she wrote, she could also adjust her mood to prevent others from reading her handwriting. Zhang Xiaobao picked up the letter and looked at it. He didn't know much about handwriting, so he couldn't see anything. He only felt that the other person's handwriting was better than his. He put down the letter and said, "Meet him tomorrow. Ask him who is behind him. It can't be that someone thinks the 2 of us are cute and sent people to protect us, right? Then go to bed early. After meeting him tomorrow, we will play for a day before going home. Make some arrangements and welcome the new county magistrate." Wang Wan threw the letter in her hand, pulled the thin blanket and lay down. Zhang Xiaobao was stunned for a few seconds. He shook his head and followed her in. The next day, when the sky was just beginning to brighten, Huzi didn't wait for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to get up and prepare to meet the person in the house. Damn that Han Yongyao. It's not over yet. Let's go over there. Let Song Jinggong take care of this. Wang Wan said angrily. Chapter 214. Zhang Xiaobao also agreed not to meet that person. He planned to go to Li Sun's place to find Han Yongyao and let him know that if he was not a bad person, he would not be retaliated against. The 2 of them first let Huzi go to rest, and then arranged for the bailiff to go to their home to tell them some things. They could not let others take action, and they did not have any reaction. After finishing these things, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan hurriedly ate a meal, prepared for a while, and then rushed to the other side by car. The place Li Sun chose was next to Sanshui County, and part of it had already left Sanshui County. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sat in the car, sullen and silent, shaking with the bumpy car. Pomegranate, who was sitting opposite them, saw the young master and young lady like this, so she advised them. Young master, young lady, it is not worth being angry with such a person. When the time comes, we will teach them a good lesson, and they will know to be afraid. Well, don't be angry, but he is a little annoying. Such a small child, but he is full of bad ideas. It seems that the adults in the family usually did not discipline him well. Let's go and deal with him first. We can't let them have an easy time. Zhang Xiaobao adjusted his posture and leaned back on the cushion. That's right, we can't let him off easily. He is so close. If we don't do it this time, he will think that we are afraid of him. Children are like this, they will definitely have worse ideas. We can't always watch him. Wang Wan also agreed. Although he was a child, he was not worse than an adult when he was bad, especially when his family had some power. At first, he just wanted to vent his anger, but when you did not care about him, he would treat it as a fun thing to do and scheme against you. Pomegranate felt that the young master and young lady were the most interesting at this time. They said that others were children, but the two of them were younger than the children. She thought for a while and asked, "Can't we let the authorities arrest them? The three of them have already been arrested, and then there will be witnesses." "What do you mean by that? There is no written evidence. When the time comes, he will say that he did not know, and these three people framed him. What can they do to him? Who doesn't know how to play dirty? Let him play dirty." Zhang Xiaobao felt that it was his greatest misfortune to have such a neighbor. He wanted to make trouble for you all day long, but he still had to spare some energy to guard against him. How could he have so much time? Wang Wan also said, "We can't let him off so easily this time. Xiaobao, how do you think we should deal with him? We can't possibly beat him up, right? There's no need to beat him. Just scare him and drag him down. As long as he can't reach the destination in the end, Li Sun will beat him. Li Sun has always wanted to show off in front of Milord. We must grasp this mentality firmly." Zhang Xiaobao also smiled sinisterly and tapped his face. Pomegranate saw the little lord's actions from the front and began to feel sorry for Han Yongyao. She didn't know what the little lord would do. "Xiaobao, that Xing Yi is next to the Han family, right? Surnamed Yuan, he also came up with the idea. This time we should give him a warning as well." Wang Wan leaned her head on Zhang Xiaobao's shoulder and closed her eyes to rest. "Yes, could it be that there's no good person over there? We can discuss with Li Sun about building another restaurant between the clouds and the water. Let's ask Li Sun for help." In order to prepare for the long journey ahead, Zhang Xiaobao also closed his eyes and leaned his head on the carriage. The carriage rushed all the way. In the afternoon, they finally caught up with Li Sun and the others. The group had already started to move. Those who walked fast were more than 1 li ahead of those who walked slow. Li Sun didn't walk so fast. There were more than 10 people around him who were also maintaining their strength. Han Yongyao was also here. This was ordered by his family. Before they came, they had already said that they had to follow beside Li Sun. They also asked the servants who came with them to watch over them. Everyone was walking when a carriage suddenly cut in. Li Sun's face immediately became ugly. Who was so bold to drive a carriage here at this time? When the carriage stopped and the door opened, Li Sun's face changed again. The others' faces also changed. Those who knew Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan before were happy. They thought that as long as they followed these two people, they would be able to reach their destination. Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi's faces also changed. They were family members and knew their own situation. They just came up with the idea. Last night someone should have poisoned them. Why did these two people who didn't come before suddenly come? Could it be that they came specifically for them? "Young Master Li, we're also here to participate. We're a little young and we cut in at this time. Do we need to start from the beginning? Then let the carriage turn back." Zhang Xiaobao jumped off the carriage first. He turned around and held Wang Wan with one hand. Then he turned around and asked Li Sun. Li Sun's face showed a happy smile. He stepped forward and said, "If other people are so young, of course they can't. But if it's you guys, then there's no need to worry. Just now you said that you're young. Since you're young, of course you should walk less. Just walk with us. Have you brought your things? This time there's no tent for you to go in and talk about the quality of the food." As Li Sun spoke, his eyes swept over Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's backpacks. He really wanted to know what they brought this time. To him, these two backpacks were no different from 100 treasures pouches. Zhang Xiaobao reached out and patted the side of his backpack. He smiled and said, "Yes, we've brought everything. We can hurry on. Young Master Han, you're here too. Did you dream that you fell into the pond last night? Did you find that the water was poisonous, and there were dead fish floating around?" After greeting Li Sun, Zhang Xiaobao turned to face Han Yongyao and asked softly, "What pond? I don't know what you're talking about. I still have to hurry on." Han Yongyao trembled and took 2 steps back in fear. He didn't dare to look at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Yuan Xingyi smiled and said, "I didn't expect that the 2 people who were said to be so powerful would finally come. Young Master Zhang, the road ahead will depend on you." Zhang Xiaobao returned a smile and didn't say anything. He sighed in his heart. These children of rich families were indeed better than the children of ordinary families. Perhaps they were a bit worse at enduring hardships, but when it came to dealing with people or things, they could always perform better. This was what they learned from being around adults. "Xiaobao, can you let me see your backpack?" When the children began to hurry on, Li Sun couldn't hold back his curiosity and walked beside Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. "Looking at it now will waste time. We'll know when we need it. I originally didn't plan on coming, but something happened at home yesterday. Cuckoo and I were playing with little Luo Shui, so we had to come and ask for young Master Li's help." The children around them were all raised by their families since they were young, so they spoke like adults. Zhang Xiaobao didn't hide it and also spoke to Li Sun in the tone of an adult. Li Sun naturally didn't speak for nothing. When he heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, he seemed to understand. He thought about how Han Yongyao had avoided his gaze and said with a smile, "Xiaobao, could it be that someone in your family went to poison the pond? How many fish died? Last time your manor sent someone to deliver the fish recipe. I was thinking that after this matter I would go to your pond to catch a few fish, but it seems that won't be possible." When Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi, who were following not far behind, heard their nephew's words, their footsteps became chaotic and they almost fell. They felt sweat seeping out of their foreheads. What they wanted to know the most right now was whether the person who had poisoned the pond had been caught. If they were caught and exposed them, wouldn't they be accused of plotting against the imperial nephew? Zhang Xiaobao seemed to know that the 2 people behind him were afraid, so he deliberately turned to look at them and said meaningfully, "Young Master Li, you may not know, but some people can't wait for everything in my family to be poisoned to death. Unfortunately, I'll have to disappoint them. In Zhuangzi, there was a farmer who happened to wake up at night and found 3 people. As for the fish, young Master Li, go back and pick a few good ones. Young Master Zhang, so someone went to make trouble at home last night. No wonder you said you were dreaming. Young Master Zhang must have dreamed about it last night. I wonder if those people have been reported to the authorities. These people can't be let off lightly." Yuan Xingyi was afraid in his heart, but he pretended to be concerned as he spoke to Zhang Xiaobao. "Yes, they have been caught and handed over to the bailiff over there. Unfortunately, these 3 people are too stubborn. The person who came to report said that the bailiff hasn't been able to get anything out of them. It seems that the person behind the scenes who wanted to poison young Master Li is not simple." Zhang Xiaobao first put a hat on the heads of the 2 people. How could Yuan Xingyi admit to this? He quickly said, "Young Master Zhang, you're too serious. Young Master Li also said that he was going to eat fish. How did those 3 people know in advance? If they really knew that young Master Li was going to eat fish, they wouldn't dare even if they had more courage." Yes, they definitely wouldn't dare. It's probably someone from Zhuangzi who was jealous of the fish in Zhongjia Zhuangzi's pond, so they went there. It's just a small matter. How could there be someone secretly instigating them? I'm just afraid that the three of them will accuse me. I'll send someone back to investigate later. If I'm a villager from Zhuangzi, I won't let them off lightly. Han Yongyao also said on the side. The only thing he hoped now was that the three people didn't say anything or suddenly died. That would be even better. This kind of thing will naturally be dealt with by the authorities. Hurry up, hurry up. According to the situation, we still have to walk for half a month. There's a section of road ahead that is not easy to walk. Li Sun knew what was going on, but he didn't say that he was going to punish the two people. Especially when Zhang Xiaobao said that he was going to poison him. He felt that Zhang Xiaobao was an interesting person. If that was really the case, the two people could be exterminated. Even if he didn't have the opportunity to sit on the throne and was just a side branch, he still had to protect the identity of the imperial nephew. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also knew that they couldn't immediately take revenge, so they could only wait for an opportunity. They no longer paid attention to the two people. Looking at the seemingly endless road, they walked beside Li Sun. After walking 100 steps, Zhang Xiaobao thought of the cooperation and said to Li Sun, "Young Master Li, when it's time to rest at night, there's something I need to discuss with you." Chapter 215. Li Sun chose this path so as not to delay the people on the main road. There were already people in front of the path to check if there was any danger. Usually, no pedestrians would come here. However, there were two small hills on the road. Although they were called hills, they were actually dirt hills. There were a few trees on the hills, but there were no cliffs or precipices. Today, they would reach there if they walked a little further. Going over the hills would take a lot of time. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he sped up a little. According to his calculation, most people would be resting on the hill at night. He and Wang Wan did not speak. Li Sun and several people around him also hurried on. Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi, who were behind them, could not stay silent. The two of them stayed a little further away from the group and got together to discuss things. "Brother Xingyi, I don't understand. Why were the three of them caught? Do you think he'll give me up when the time comes?" Han Yongyao rubbed his hands anxiously, hoping to hear some comforting words from Yuan Xingyi. Yuan Xingyi was also worried. Hearing this, he smacked his lips and said, "Of course. Those Yamen runners are all good at tricks. I am not afraid of them. If they ask and we don't admit it, what can they do? We are not in Sanshui County. Where do they dare to catch people? So it's okay." Han Yongyao was happy. "Okay. If this matter is serious, Zhang Xiaobao and Zhuangzi will remember us. They may even do something bad to our two families. No, I have to send someone back to tell them to keep an eye on them at night." As Yuan Xingyi spoke, he suddenly thought of this. Ignoring Han Yongyao, who was asking how Zhang Xiaobao and Zhuangzi would retaliate, he quickly found a guard who accompanied them here. After the guard took the order and went back, he let out a sigh of relief. He looked at Han Yongyao, who had also just sent someone back to report, and said, "That's good. That's good. In the future, we should get in touch with young Master Li more and give him some benefits so that young Master Li won't help them. I see that young Master Li is quite good to the Zhang family and Wang family's Zhuangzi. I don't know why he doesn't want to buy the restaurant and Zhuangzi anymore. If there's a chance, we should stir up this matter." As he spoke, Yuan Xingyi laughed sinisterly again, perhaps because he felt that his idea was good. Han Yongyao nodded vigorously at the side, thinking that this was indeed a good idea. "Then when we eat later, I will give young Master Li the good stuff in my bag." Han Yongyao thought of such a way to get close to and please him. Yuan Xingyi shook his head. "No, young Master Li is here to get some food. If you give him your food, he won't eat it. He wants to experience the details of surviving in the wild. If you really give him food, he will be angry." "Brother Xingyi is right. I was careless. No thanks." Han Yongyao felt that he was much worse than Yuan Xingyi. He was even more grateful and learned to imitate Yuan Xingyi. Li Sun hurried along, looking up at the sky from time to time. He felt that the sky was getting dark too slowly today. He kept thinking about Zhang Xiaobao's words that they had something to discuss. In his opinion, it was not Zhang Xiaobao who had something to say to him, but the expert on Zhangjie Zhuangzi who had passed the message through Zhang Xiaobao's mouth. In this kind of torment, the sky finally slowly darkened. They also walked to the second hill. When the sun, which was as round as an egg yolk, was about to set, the team stopped. The people in front of them had already taken out their food and started to eat. Li Sun and the others also started to eat. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took out their food. When they saw it, they were surprised. Li Sun was also a little confused. He thought that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would take out the same fried noodles as he did. Unexpectedly, they took out raw rice from their backpacks. Xiaobao, you are going to? Li Sun pointed at the raw rice and asked. It's evening. Cuckoo and I only had some snacks at noon. If we don't eat now, we will be hungry. Zhang Xiaobao said matter-of-factly. The two of them each took out a small pot and put 2 bowls in it. One was like a big ladle and the other was like steamed but much smaller. Wang Wan was in charge of adding water to the steamed rice, and Zhang Xiaobao was in charge of digging a hole to collect firewood. A small iron ring that could be folded and supported by 3 legs was put on the fire. When the rice was steamed, the two of them took out the already cut radishes and beef and put them in another pot. They poured some oil, added some chopped green onions, and cooked beef with radishes. Everyone was dumbfounded. How could they still be in the mood to cook at a time like this? Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took out 2 large goose eggs under everyone's astonished gazes. The two of them even put the goose eggs into their backpacks. Xiaobao, eat one. One is enough for the 2 of us. Wang Wan looked at the goose egg in her hand and then looked at Zhang Xiaobao's egg. Okay, I'll eat one. Zhang Xiaobao took back his egg and took out the iron one with the biggest bowl. He lit a fire and put oil in the bowl. Wang Wan came over and knocked the goose egg on the side of the bowl. With a hua sound, the egg white and egg yolk inside fell into the bowl. Raw. Several people said at the same time. They thought it was salty and cooked, but they didn't expect it to be raw. Li Sun looked at them from the side. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. How could Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan not bring food that was convenient to carry? They came here to cook. As a result, there were less things in their backpacks. He couldn't help but ask curiously. Xiaobao, is there something special about the things you've brought? Something special? No, Cuckoo and I came here in a hurry. We came here from Little Luoshui. How could we prepare other things? We can only bring some. Let's eat beef stewed radish later. I put my family's special seasoning in it. I like to dip the beef in garlic sauce. Cuckoo doesn't want to eat it. Zhang Xiaobao explained to Li Sun. In fact, he and Wang Wan came here to find trouble with Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi. It wasn't a real survival in the wild, so they should enjoy it. Li Sun naturally didn't believe it. How could there be nothing in Little Luoshui? Seeing Zhang Xiaobao say so, he could only keep the words in his heart. What if the two of them ate all the food? Would they rely on eating that thing all day in the future? The food was stewed in the pot, and with Zhang Xiaobao's 13 spices, the aroma drifted everywhere in a short while. The same was true for the aroma of the rice. Those who could only eat fried noodles or cooked food secretly swallowed their saliva. Even drinking a mouthful of the stewed soup would be enough. Li Sun thought about it and finally decided to eat some of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's food. He said, "Give me some later. Let's eat more soup. You two can't eat the rice, right? Give me some, I'll eat it in the soup. Are these cucumbers?" As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao took out 2 cucumbers from his bag. He put an iron bowl over, pulled out a small kitchen knife and slapped it. Wang Wan also handed over a few cloves of garlic. Hearing Li Sun's words, Zhang Xiaobao didn't stop slapping and said, Yes, cucumbers. Give some to the garlic and cucumbers to eat. I'll give you some later. Ordinary people can't eat cucumbers unless they are transported from somewhere else. No. It seems that Zhuangzi will be auspicious again this year, right? When winter comes, give me some and I'll help you sell it. How about it? Li Sun understood the cucumbers. What auspicious? It was that Zhangjia Zhuangzi had a way to grow cucumbers. He guessed it last year. At that time he wanted to come and snatch it, but he was stopped by his father. He said that Zhangjia Zhuangzi was counting on cucumbers to make more money. Later, he heard that Zhangjia Zhuangzi was already prepared. As long as someone went there, he would destroy the place. Only then did he give up the idea. Now that he was more familiar with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he was even more embarrassed to ask for the method. He could only buy some and bring them back. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand and put the cucumbers and garlic into a bowl. He sprinkled some salt and said, "There's no need to sell them. My family planted a lot this year. We can eat them all in one go until next year. When we go back, I'll have someone send some to your place. You have to show filial piety to your elders and learn the method of planting. Give it to the prince and do something good for the people. Your family is going to hand over the method." And Li Sun didn't expect Zhang Xiaobao to be willing to hand over the method. It was all money. He didn't hand it over last year because he suddenly found the method. He didn't know if it was good or not. It was auspicious. This year he mastered the method. That person in my family said that he couldn't keep it. If he handed it over, he would get some benefits. If he didn't hand it over, how dare he sell it and say it was auspicious? Zhang Xiaobao said helplessly. Once the method was revealed, it would not only be planting cucumbers, but also other things. How much money would they lose? But this method was like a bomb. With the arrival of the new county magistrate, the income of little Luo Shui was so high. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Zhuangzi were being targeted. Li Sun thought for a while and said, "I understand. You said that you have something to discuss with me. Is this the thing? What benefits do you want? To promote your father and Wang Wan's father by 1 rank. No, it's just an empty position. A rank 7 official position is enough. Cuckoo's father will think of a way. My father can't be promoted no matter what. If he is promoted, it will be hard to arrange things in the future. As long as you help to spread my father's reputation, it will be enough. This method will be the Yongqing vegetable growing method." Zhang Xiaobao didn't want to ask for an official position for his father now. If he really gave it to his father, how would he arrange his rank after the imperial examination? If he got a rank 6 official now, would he be able to be a county magistrate in the future? That would be the county magistrate of the capital city, Chang'an. He could use this vegetable growing method to gain a reputation. When the time comes, he would help to spread the word. Also, with County Magistrate Cheng's help, it would be easier to send out invitations. Li Sun didn't know that all this was discussed by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He thought that it was the advice of that expert Zhangjia Zhuangzi. "Young Master Li, I said that we have something to discuss. It's not this. It's another thing. Let's build a few restaurants between the clouds and the water. I will tell you the details later. The other thing is that I need your help with." Zhang Xiaobao said again. "Recommend a book for friendship. Wang Daoji's model competition recommendation ticket. Don't give it to him. Leave it for me. Thank you." Chapter 216. What's the matter? Li Sun asked. "I want my father to be the top scorer in the examinations and become the top high scholar in Peng Prefecture," Zhang Xiaobao said seriously. "What subject?" When Li Sun heard that he wanted to become the first high scholar, he gulped and asked. "The Jinshe subject, which was originally the elementary scholar subject," Zhang Xiaobao replied. Li Sun was no longer swallowing his saliva, but was wiping his sweat. He had promised to give these children a tribute, but it was the kind that would be placed at the back of the queue. Not many of them would be able to persist. But Zhang Xiaobao, or rather the person behind him, wanted to be the top scorer, and it was for the Jinsher subject. This was too scary. Xiaobao, when you go back, you should tell your family that it's not easy to become the top high scholar of the province. You need to have real talent, fame, and support. What I say doesn't count. Let's talk about the matter of the restaurant. Li Sun was indeed in a difficult position. He did not have the ability to obtain the position of the top high scholar in Peng Prefecture. Zhang Xiaobao wanted to discuss this matter first and said, "Young Master Li, you don't have to be in a difficult position. You have the fame. From tomorrow onwards, all the restaurants in Sanshui County will sing Yongqing poems. Within half a month, all the restaurants in Peng Prefecture will sing Yongqing poems. During the new year, Guanyi Dao, Hunan Dao, Shanandong Dao and Hudong Dao will sing Yongqing poems wherever there is a well." Li Sun was stunned. He understood what the person from the Zhang family meant. He wanted to use money to bribe people to spread the poems everywhere. As long as the poems written by Zhang Xiaobao's father were not too bad, there would be no problems. But how much money would that require? No wonder they did not want empty positions. Thinking of this, Li Sun nodded. If that's the case, then it will be easier to handle. With this method of growing vegetables, your father's reputation will be very big. It's time to let your father write more poems. Write more, write well. Did your family say how much they are willing to pay this time? He just wanted to ask Zhang Xiaobao how much money his family could give to the people above him so that they could help him. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao was silent. He had to calculate how much income he had and how to distribute it. His family was suddenly poor again. Just the expenses for those rumors alone were not small, and he still had to give gifts. How much money could he have? Between the clouds and the water was not earning enough, at least not now. Little Luo Shui could do it. It was not a problem for them to earn 100,000 taels of silver a year. Compared to those large clans with a foundation that could easily earn 1,000,000 taels of silver, it was not bad. Compared to those small clans, it was not bad. But this money could not be earned immediately. He needed a period of time. He was poor, but it would be enough to wait until his father finished his exams. 5,000 taels of silver a month. You can borrow some first. It should be 30,000 taels. I can take it all out at once. What do you think, young Master Li? Zhang Xiaobao calculated and gave a number when he lamented that he was poor. Li Sun did not understand what Zhang Xiaobao was thinking. Did his family not tell him about this? When Zhang Xiaobao said this, Li Sun smiled. "It's good to have this money. I will help you arrange it. In fact, it is not a small amount. How much is the annual tax of the imperial court? With this money, people in the capital can also send invitations. Just wait for the good news. Seems that your family has made a lot of money. I will be counting on you in the future." Zhang Xiaobao naturally knew that the tax of the imperial court was not that high. Could easily be tens of millions. It was impossible. The main reason was that the tax was low. It was not like in the capital, where one had to pay 20 to 30% of the tax. But it could not be said that there was no money here. The wealthy families in the capital could casually send a gift of 1,000 strings of coins. At this time, the river there was not frozen. When the weather turned cold, the income would be even lower. They could only wait for the next year to sell ice. Then I will have to thank young Master Li. When the restaurant between the clouds and the water opens, young Master Li will also have a small amount of money. Zhang Xiaobao said to Li Sun. A fragrant smell entered his nose. It would be ready to eat in a while. Li Sun understood that this was a benefit given to him by the Zhang family. It seemed that this Zhang family was not bad. He could get some benefits from the way they grew vegetables. This time he got another. His imperial nephew was also poor. The money that the palace gave him every month was not enough to do anything. He originally wanted to buy the restaurant between the clouds and the water, but now he did not need to. Zhang Xiaobao said that this was a temporary idea. He immediately arranged for someone to go back and ask his father to write some poems. His father's talent was not bad. He knew a lot of things. If it was not for the fact that he was afraid that his father would be angry, he could have asked Wang Wan to help him think of some poems to fake. The stew bubbled for a while. After it was thick, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took the pot and gave some to Li Sun. They began to eat the fragrant rice. Li Sun praised as he ate. Good. What did you put in? Don't forget to send me some of that seasoning when you go back. I will ask the chef to add it when he cooks. With a common interest, Zhang Xiaobao and Li Sun's relationship became closer. He chewed the beef with a bit of tendon at the back and nodded. Okay. I will have someone send it to your place when we go back. When the restaurant is built, the mountain and the restaurant will be connected. You can bring people who are close to you to play. Remember to pay. Don't let your family's business fail. Yes, I will. You must pay. When the time comes, I will also have a share. My carriage needs to be changed. I need to make a few more sets of clothes. Look at these clothes. I wore them last year. They are a bit small. Li Sun said happily. He even cried that he was poor. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at the clothes Li Sun was wearing. They nodded and didn't say anything. He didn't wear the same clothes every day last year. As long as his body didn't grow too fast. So what if he wore the same clothes the year before? The three of them sat together and chatted while eating. This made Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi, who were eating the smoked meat behind them, feel uncomfortable. Especially the smell of the beef stewed with radish and the fragrance of the cucumber. The two of them felt that the meat in their mouths was really hard to swallow. Brother Xingyi, didn't you just say that young Master Li won't eat other people's food? Now we have to add 2 more dishes. Han Yongyao looked at the smoked lamb leg in his hand and complained. If you give it to him, of course he won't eat it. But that dish is freshly made. If you give it to me, I won't be able to resist it either. I didn't expect that 2 kids could make such delicious food. Cucumber with garlic. Can even eat a bite. Yuan Xingyi also felt that the food in his mouth was tasteless. Looking at the others eating the hot food in big mouthfuls, he smacked his lips and finally took a bite of his own food. Who asked him to not bring anything raw? If he didn't want to be beaten, he could only endure. The adults who followed them also smelled the food made by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. One of them, who seemed to be a mother, said to the mother of another child next to her, "If I had known, I would have brought some raw food for Exxon. It's useless. They don't know how to cook. The children of the Zhang family and the Wang family are very good. Last time on the grassland I saw them cook. I don't know how their family teaches them." The woman who heard the voice sighed. The one who spoke before said, "It should be that their family is not rich. Their children have to help out since they were young." Not rich. This elder sister, do you know which family they are from? Tuqiao village, the treasures of the Tu Zhuangzi, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The wharf in Xiao Luoshui belongs to them. There are hundreds of shops, restaurants, and warehouses. They only rent and don't sell. The rent they receive every year is hundreds of thousands of strings of coins. The woman who understood the situation gave an introduction that she didn't know. Speaking of which, she was even more envious. The wasteland that they bought with 1,000 taels of silver turned into a chicken that lays golden eggs. When the woman heard that the 2 children were raised by the Tu Zhuangzi of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, she opened her mouth wide in shock. After a while she closed it and said, "Such rich Zhuangzi actually let their children learn how to cook? Could it be that they want their children to be cooks in the restaurant in the future?" She said sourly. Then, she looked at her 11-year-old child who was gnawing on a meat pie. The crumbs were everywhere. Then she looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan who were still eating. She helplessly shook her head. Today was the last time the child would eat meat pie. Starting tomorrow he would eat something else. The meat pie couldn't be left for too long. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finished eating in a short while. They looked at the bowl that was stained with oil and then looked at the water bag they brought. They poured a little water into it and shook it a few times. Then they raised their heads and drank the water that was stained with oil. Then they took out 2 pieces of paper to wipe their faces. The river in front seems to be the day after tomorrow. Let's hold on for 2 days. Zhang Xiaobao put away the things and lay down on the withered grass. Are you really going to reach the destination? Wang Wan lay down next to Zhang Xiaobao and asked. Zhang Xiaobao and Wei Wei turned their heads and looked at where Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi were. They put their arms under their heads and said, "That depends on when we can make them quit. If they can hold on for a short time, we will go back early. If they can hold on until the end, then I will admire them." Absolutely impossible. We can't scare them to death. We can't make them feel absent-minded and weak. Wang Wan took out the blankets and pushed Zhang Xiaobao to turn over. One of the blankets was spread out and the other covered the 2 of them. After lying down for a while, Zhang Xiaobao took out the knife and walked towards Han Yongyao. What do you want to do? I'm telling you, if you dare to use the knife, you are finished." Han Yongyao looked at Zhang Xiaobao, who was holding the knife, and asked vigilantly. Yuan Xingyi also stared at Zhang Xiaobao. He didn't believe that Zhang Xiaobao would make a move at this time. Zhang Xiaobao came close to the 2 of them, squatted down, smiled at the 2 of them and said, "Don't be afraid. Don't have nightmares at night. I will cut some grass and use it as a pillow. You guys go ahead." Zhang Xiaobao said and really cut the grass beside the 2 of them. Han Yongyao and Yuan Xingyi didn't know what to do. When Zhang Xiaobao was almost done cutting, Yuan Xingyi remembered and asked, "Don't you have grass over there? Why are you cutting the grass here?" "Yes, but I don't want to see you die, so I help you. The place where you lie will be dangerous," Zhang Xiaobao said with a trembling voice. You're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.